From social innovations to sustainable solutions, our researchers and students are lighting the way towards a better tomorrow. Umriis 2025 and Interact 2025 brings to you around 1,200 research papers or research projects. Some will be presented physical. Okay, it will be in HIR building. Some will be presented online, and some will be in the form of digital posters supported by video presentation. A huge number. Their works are categorized into 13 sub-themes, as you can see from the books of abstracts, that covers all the 10 strategic thrust areas of Universiti Malaya, and in line with the 13 Malaysia Plan focus, which is to build resilient, inclusive, and sustainable future. But research alone is not sufficient. Innovation thrives where collaboration flourishes. Umriis 2025 reaffirm our belief that progress is a collective journey, one that unites academia, industry, government, and community. Today's expert keynotes, right after this, and also industry dialogues, the fireside chat, provides participants with an avenue to connect. This summit serves as a bridge connecting ideas to industry, researchers to real-world challenges, and innovators to opportunities that transcend disciplines and borders. Through transdisciplinary research and open partnerships, we aim to transform challenges into possibilities, fostering ecosystems where knowledge is co-created and not confined. Let this event be the spark that forges new alliances, where every handshake and every shared vision bring us closer to solving the grand challenge of our time. In today's world, innovation is no longer work of a single mind or a single institution. It is the product of collaboration, of diverse talents coming together to solve problems that no one could solve alone. That is the reasons why Umriis 2025 is designed as a platform to connect. It is where, again, academia meets industry. So we have many industries participate in our programs, and where vision meet action. In other words, we are creating spaces where partnerships become the engine of progress, forging bridges across disciplines and institutions and borders. Ultimately, the value of research lies not in publications alone, but in its power to transform lives. Universiti Malaya envision research that matters, innovation that is inclusive, ethical, and sustainable. Our collective impact must extend beyond the campus gate. We must ask ourselves, how does our research improve society? How does it empower community? Universiti Malaya must champion research that does not remain confined within the walls of academia, but reaches outward to the society, to the industry, to the policymakers, and also to the world. We must turn ideas into innovation, research into the real-world solutions, and discovery into development of products that benefit all. A made by Malaysia, from Universiti Malaya to the world. This is in line with the government's initiative where in the recent budget 2026 speech, it was mentioned the importance of made by Malaysia product. I quote, this is what PM said during the budget speech. Malaysia tidak boleh sekadar menjadi pengguna. Kita mesti mencipta, mengeluarkan produk dan perkhidmatan, menerajui teknologi dan pendigitalan. Under tekad 4, memacu produk ciptaan Malaysia. Berdasarkan data, Universiti Awam telah menubuhkan hampir 450 syarikat terbitan. Namun kadar pengkomersialan masih rendah, sekitar 5%. Bagi menggalakkan pengkomersialan hasil R&D, pensyarah Universiti Awam yang menjadi pengasas syarikat terbitan dibenarkan mengambil cuti penyelidikan dan atau sabbatical setahun untuk tujuan pengkomersialan R&D. Kerajaan bersetuju menyalurkan dana permulaan 10 juta ringgit melalui penubuhan dana nasional syarikat terbitan dan ini memberi peluang kepada 50 pensyarah menumpukan sepenuhnya kepada pembangunan syarikat terbitan serta menarik pelaburan swasta sekurang-kurangnya 30 juta ringgit dengan kesan pengganda 3 kali ganda, end of quote. So itu quote daripada budget speech in order for us to encourage more and more spin-off ataupun startup from university. And the next 2 days and tomorrow is a platform for us to connect to make sure all our startup sebelah kiri saya dan sebelah kanan saya ni akan berpeluang untuk excel ataupun fly further. Responding to this, the budget study, the innovations and product showcase within Umriis provides a dynamic business matching session connecting university innovations and startups with industry partners to accelerate commercializations and real-world impact. As we move forward into Umriis 2025, let us be inspired by curiosity, strengthen collaborations, and driven by the impact we seek to create. Together, let us reaffirm Universiti Malaya's role, not just as a premier university, but as a beacon of transformative research and innovation for the region and the world. With that, thank you. Inspiring research, advancing collaboration, transforming impact. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Prof, for that inspiring speech. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are honored to feature a special recorded keynote speech by a distinguished Malaysian innovator, Yang Berbahagia Datuk Puah Kin Seng, Chief Executive Officer of Phison Electronics Corporation. Datuk Puah is widely recognized as one of Malaysia's leading technology pioneers, known globally for his contributions to semiconductor and storage solutions. He will be sharing his insights on innovation leadership and the importance of global collaboration in advancing technology. Ladies and gentlemen, please turn your attention to the screen as we play Datuk Puah's keynote video.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm K.S. Puah. I'm very sorry not able to attend this meaningful event. I'm in the trip in the west coast of the America. Thanks to give a short note about the Malaysia development of a semiconductor. As we know, Malaysia now is one of the very important areas to provide the semicon backend service, including the packaging, the testing. We play a very important role in Malaysia and to supply the whole ecosystem in the world. But we also follow what the Malaysia cabinet wish in the future. We agree the design chips in semicon also play a very important role. Malaysia have to go to the design in the ASIC and also the front-end design in the chips. But in order to build this ecosystem, we need a lot of talent. University of Malaya is one of the best university. We wish Phison we are able to create a cooperation between the Phison and But I'd like to highlight few things of a point that we may need to consider. In order to design the chips, the development of the R&D cost is kind of very, very high. To build a talent pool, we need the university to have a class, the training course. But in the industry, we also need to have an IC design house to build the whole cluster. But if we are capable to design the chips in Malaysia, we need to ask who will be our chips customers. Unfortunately, in Malaysia, we don't have that many system designers and system builders. Most of assembler, the design are done in US, in Taiwan, in China, in Korea, then doing assembly in Malaysia. So the chips design activity have to go to those countries. So in order to build our own chips design industry, we also have to build our own system design industry. Then build the board level, they are able to take Malaysia chips to support to this industry. But again, if we want to build the system in Malaysia, can we compete to China or Taiwan or South Korea or America? The question is definitely very challenging, right? So to support the national products, design in Malaysia, produced in Malaysia, selling in Malaysia, we need some certain policy to support the local industry able to do the design in the chips, design the systems with the government policy. The system company, the chips company, they are capable to sell their early products to the market to help them from nothing to establish the mature technology. Once everything good, they can go out and compete Taiwan, China, or South Korea, or America. So this is the things I think very important. Without the good policy, if only relies on the design house coming to Malaysia, hire some engineer doing certain part of the design, but the market is not happening in Malaysia, I don't believe we are able to create the root of a design in Malaysia. So local content policy, the government policy will play the certain important role to help initiate the design of system and chips in Malaysia. Again, semiconductor design is important, but this will take long time and big investment. AI is happening. We also have to agree today's AI 99% happen in the cloud, led by America and China. We may also agree they don't have other nations able to build their own cloud AI system anymore, because this is a huge investment. You need to have talent, you need to have market share, you need to cover. Okay, so if the world can only follow US or China cloud AI systems, this will create a lot of cultural problem. A lot of countries talking about sovereignty data, sovereignty AI. If we don't have our own storage to store the data, we don't have an edge AI solution to use on premise, we can only use US China data center, store the data, and use their AI system to doing the inference. How can we say we have a sovereignty AI? So Phison transfer back our edge AI solution Adaptive Plus to My Storage, a startup company in Malaysia. We are training some engineers in local Puchong. We also working with the universities, create a lot of a class to train the students who are able to deploy the AI solutions from the open source to their office. I believe edge AI will be start going popular from 2026, but the market don't have a good skill of AI engineers. Where the AI engineers coming from? We need to train from the universities. So I also wish realize this as edge AI will play a very important role in the whole Malaysian industry. We need to pay attention to the semiconductor front-end design, but we also need to focus to the edge AI development. We have developed the so-called AI training PC, which is around 16 to 19,000 ringgit set of the AI system. Students can take this system to train their skill, how to doing fine-tuning, how to doing their inference, how to develop the application. With this low amount of expense, 16 to 19K ringgit, this can help to train a lot of AI engineers. In this world, there are a lot of AI white collar develop the model from nothing happen in US and China. The open source we can easy to get, but we need a lot of AI blue collar, taking open source, develop applications, deploy in the on-premise, helping every industry, including the government office, to use the AI to create the so-called sovereignty AI, with software developed by Malaysia, the system installed in Malaysia, the storage designed in Malaysia. So my storage, we have a storage design, we have a chip design, we have the AI system on premise, we have Adaptive Plus, we all transfer back to Puchong. I really wish is the tier 1 university in Malaysia. We are open. We wish we can work with the to train the student, to work close with the professors, to create the more research, to help Malaysia play the important role, starting from ASEAN, from develop the on-premise AI solution by ourselves, develop the storage system by ourselves, which able to secure the data in our homeland, and also to develop our country economies. Once the system good in Malaysia, we can start to export to ASEAN. We can start to work with the Middle East. We can start to export to other third countries. We also can bring in more system team from developed countries, ask them to come to Malaysia, design in Malaysia, taking Malaysia this small home market as a starting business, build the talent, build the engineers in Malaysia. So we, Phison, invest the My Storage. My Storage is ready to go. We have a good team in the SSD design. We have a good team in the AI edge system developing. I sincerely wish we are happy, also be our honor to work with to create the partnership, to train the more students, to develop our industry in our homeland Malaysia. Thank you.
Thank you, Yang Berbahagia Datuk Puah Kin Seng, for that inspiring keynote video. Datuk Puah's journey is a remarkable example of how innovation, perseverance, and global collaboration can transform ideas into world-class technologies. His message reminds us that Malaysian talents have the potential to lead globally when passion meets purpose. Now, we continue with our morning keynote session, focusing on another crucial driver of innovation, artificial intelligence. We are honored to have with us Mr. Law Kin Fong, Deputy Manager for Gen AI Solution at Malaysia AI Storage, My Storage. Mr. Law will be sharing on the topic, Democratizing AI from Talent to Industry. This session will explore how AI can be made accessible to more sectors, empowering both research institutions and industries to harness data-driven innovation effectively. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Law Kin Fong.
Very good morning. Thank you, everyone. Thank you from the top management of Universiti Malaya. Thank you, Datuk Puah, for me as a representative of Phison and My Storage here. So, thank you, students and also startups actually joining this event. Very important research summit we have here. Let me actually bring you through from what happened of this. So, democratizing AI from talent to industry, basically connecting from talents all the way to industry, and how AI will actually influence the whole industries. Yeah, I'm touching the mic. Next slide. Right. So let me start with the journey so far from this My Storage. My Storage basically is an idea where Datuk Phua want to actually bring back talent into Malaysia. And it started from KL 2024 April. Then we actually fast forward our pace and then form the company My Storage by kind of a June SSM registrations. Then money are pumped in. Then by August 1st, we already have our office set up at PFCC together with CDEC. At that time, I'm one of the first employee joining My Storage journey, very interesting journey. Until today, very proud to say, we actually have hired 100 over engineers to actually train them up from scratch, from junior, and then they already started working on projects. So what kind of projects are they working, you will ask actually. So we focus on three main areas. Enterprise SSD, as Dr. Phua saying that we want to bring back the knowledge of storage, and enterprise SSD are a very important piece of the AI journeys. AI servers require a lot of storage, data center require a lot of storage, and this enterprise SSD ideas will actually have to, talents have to build from here. Then the next part is actually where I'm from, Gen AI solutions. Basically, with the use case of adaptive solutions, we actually want to enable the industry to actually have a Gen AI charge, to actually have very good software and solutions with Gen AI. Then going forward, we are working on automotive storage. That's a small part, but yep, it's going on. From here, the last part of that is actually some visions. By 2028, Datuk Phua would like to bring My Storage to IPO in Malaysia. The reason there is basically providing back to the talent, actually getting an attachment of this journey together, and actually bringing My Storage as a successful company going forward. So yep, let me revisit this. Just now, Dr. Phua actually mentioned white collar versus blue collars. It's very interesting in a sense on this Gen AI journey. All the big models, Meta, Llama, Alibaba Q1, DeepSeek models are by those big guys. They have data. So those people that actually create the models, we call them white collars. But who are the users? Who is using all this? Will be the blue collars. We need to understand what model is out there, how do we utilize these models, and that's why we need a lot more blue collars to actually bring this AI technology into every single nook and cranny of the industries. So with My Storage, what we want to actually say is, yeah, it's possible. But let me give you a little bit on the high levels of what happened today with AI. From the left side of the slides, you can see actually AI has been there for 20, 30 years. I mean, from research point of view, you guys will be agree, it has been there. Just a very small portion of it being used in the real world applications. But from ML, machine learning, to deep learning, then the Gen AI, generative AI, actually gave a boom. What happened? ChatGPT show you that everyone can use AI, and everyone are asking about AI. Then from there, we have like models that can do text to text, text to image, image to text, vision language model, large language models, voice model, text to speech, speech to text. All these are different models that can actually utilize in your workflow, in your actually day-to-day job to actually help you to improve. But at the right sides on the applications, there are two main camps, the open source and the closed source. Previously, we only know it's closed source. Everyone has to access through a token, subscribing to a service like ChatGPT, Copilot. But this year, DeepSeek kind of show us it's possible to actually run it on premise. You can own it, you can control it, you can train it. So that's where DeepSeek comes into pictures. We have Meta Llama, that's a open source. We have Alibaba Q1. And to my surprise, a few months back, ChatGPT opened up their model. We call it GPT OSS. There's a 20B and 120B models. What it shows is the open source world are actually very important to these big corporations. They need the community support to actually improve it forward, and also populating the AI utilizations. So yes, how do we actually do it? Let me actually bring a story back. When I started hiring, I hired AI engineers in. I need machines. I need to actually get them to actually use it. We are not on a cloud. So AI TPC, something we started, as Dato' Phua just now mentioned, 16 to 19K ringgit to start. It's a PC with 1 GPU and our adaptive solutions. What we use it for? 2 things. Teaching. First, we teach my engineers how and what we can use in this AI PC. The second, we want to train those open source models. With this, we can actually supervise, fine-tune the models to our domain. So yeah, with this, we started the journey on how we actually have this, So adaptive solutions basically is a solutions that actually extending the memory. Let me just do it in layman terms. So GPUs consist of memory, and the memory are very expensive. So that actually bounding how many GPU, how big is the Gen AI model can be loaded. So with us storage solutions, we are extending it to actually allow larger model size. We call it like 70 billion, 120 billion to be loaded into the machines. And with this, we utilize it to actually supervise, fine-tune, tune it to your domain, and then we start from there to actually build applications. So with this, we understand we need to actually train the models. With adaptive solutions, we can train the models. And then after you fine-tune it, you can actually use it for inferencing. So that's where the application buildings is in, where we actually utilize it to actually build good applications and workflows to actually really solve the problems with AI. So over here, we already have quite a few use cases. So with these adaptive solutions actually come in a picture. Let me go to the next one. This is a very detailed one. So yeah, we have a success story here. Different machines, all the way from H200 machines to servers grade to 6,000 ADA machines, then going into NVIDIA Sparks, all the way to a single GPU's AI laptops. We can actually train different set of models from DeepSeek's 671B to AI TPC with a Q1, Alibaba Q1 3, 14B models. So that's where we actually fine-tune the model actually for a localized usage. Then the next use case, we actually can use it for inferencing. All the way from the smallest edge AI that we're saying, Jetson Orin, in the industry of manufacturing, actually that's a very popular machines. We can actually have a local inference machine that can actually give Gen AI use cases, all the way to laptops, iGPU, with iGPU, and then with AI TPC, just like I mentioned, and that's a very good start-off case. Schools, universities should actually start from there to equip the students with real hardware and do fine-tuning and local development in the lab. So that's where we actually started. And then from there, we can actually scale up to actually a bigger servers like H200 or A6000, 6,000 ADAs. So that's the servers. So with here, we have two actually main case: increase time to first tokens and increase token length. That will actually reduce the cost of GPUs. So that means we will not need to actually depend on very expensive GPUs to actually successfully do the local inferencing and fine-tuning. So yep, that's what my storage and Phison is looking at, making powerful AI accessible to everyday's laptops and PCs, making sure every single person going forward are not just a user. We can actually be a pencipta. we actually want the laptops and PCs locally can be used to develop real applications, useful applications, and bringing the Gen AI to all of the use case. So with this, we're also working closely with all these big names like Intel. We're working with Intel iGPUs to actually bring laptops with adaptive solutions. They can do inferencing up to 32B models, working with Asus and Asus over here. So, so that's an overview of it. So what we want to do is aligning AI with our local value. You see, DeepSeek are being trained with China data. Llama are being trained with all the web US data. But with us have the capability to fine-tune the model, we can bring it local, we can bring it to our own value. Then from there, we actually utilize it to actually service the industry and build workflows into it. So from there, adaptive solution allow you to actually build good applications and solve real problem. But yeah, you ask, what kind of problem have we solved? Let me show you a few. The team, the young team here is 1 year plus. We started with this, AI in education. So this one is one of a use case. We go with Ministry of Education's AI Classroom Initiative. In the middle, we actually allow students to tap into Gen AI and start asking questions about what is Gen AI, how do I improve my STEM subject. Then also with that, we allow the models to profile the students. Based on the question they ask, we can understand how's the level of understanding through Bloom taxonomy kind of use cases. So this is one of the use cases that we built locally. So here also another thing on agriculture. We actually built Edge AI to understand insects that actually on the paddy farm. So helping paddy farmers to actually understand what is the sickness and what is the actions required to actually, when you see that. So over at the left side, you can see there's a pole collecting information, weather system, and also insects capturing. Then with our AI TPC, we can identify the insects, what is the type, and what is the required actions for the farmer to actually protect their plant. So last but not least, also in healthcare, on-premise use cases on the healthcare are very important. So with this, it's actually a bot for patients and doctor conversations. Don't need to actually type the report anymore. All are recorded in voice transcription. And with this, the doctor can be very fast understanding their report of the patients, and then can generate assessment, then all the way link into their hospital patient record systems. So this is one of the use cases in healthcare that we actually built. So, but yeah, that's the 3 different use cases we have. Last but not least, I would say Gen AI should and will be actually go into every single industry. As I understand from a lot of the SMEs and enterprise, they're asking us, how can we actually incorporate Gen AI into our system? And yeah, that's a very important journey. Dr. Phua always shared, in these 3 years, it will be a supercharged journey of Gen AI. Every software in the world will have to have come with Gen AI and AI incorporated. So here, yep, that's all I say. Thank you. So your journey starts here with adaptive solutions and my storage. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Law, for the insightful keynote on the role of artificial intelligence in shaping Malaysia's innovation ecosystem. Indeed, the future belongs to those who can bridge knowledge and technology, transforming complex data into meaningful impact. We will now move on to our first fireside chat of the day. The session is titled Culture, Communication and Connections, Reimagining Social Science Partnerships for Impact. Joining us for this engaging discussion are Mr. Cham Owitong, co-founder and CEO of AMB Connect Sdn Bhd and board member of SME Corporation Malaysia, and Mr. Aizuddin Daniel Izham Chong, Chief Personal Banking Officer, Aeon Bank. The session will be moderated by Associate Professor Chemist Dr. Noraini Binti Ahmad, Director, of UMCAS, Universiti Malaya. Please give them a warm round of applause.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning to honorable guests, distinguished panelists, ladies and gentlemen. Hi everyone, welcome to the exciting Fireside Chat 1 session on culture, communication and connection, reimagining social science partnership for impact. I am Associate Professor Chemist Dr. Noraini Ahmad, the Director of Universiti Malaya Community Engagement Center, or also known as UMCARES. I'm honored to be here as your moderator today. We have an insightful conversation ahead featuring two exceptional panelists who bring a wealth of experience and perspective to this topic. The objective of this session are firstly to explore how culture, communication and connection shape successful partnership between social sciences and industry. Secondly, to highlight real-world examples of collaboration that created meaningful social or economic impact. Ladies and gentlemen, let me first introduce our distinguished panelists. First, we have Mr. Cham Owi Tong. Mr. Cham is the co-founder and Chief Executive Officer of AMB Connect Sindian Berhad, an Islamic equity crowdfunding platform registered with the Securities Commission Malaysia. A graduate of the Southern California University, Mr. Cham brings him over 20 years of experience working with multinational corporations and serving as a cross-border corporate advisor across Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong, and China. He currently serves on the board of SME Corp Malaysia, a key government agency under the Ministry of Entrepreneur Development and Cooperatives known as KUSCOP. Beyond his corporate and advisory roles, Mr. Cham is the president of the Federation of Malaysian Chinese Chambers of Commerce and Industry, where he is also chairs the Government Affairs Bureau. In addition, he leads the China Traders and Investors Association Malaysia as its president, reflecting his active involvement in fostering regional and international business collaborations. Joining with him today is Mr. Izzuddin Daniel Izham Chiang. Mr. Izzuddin is the Chief Personal Banking Officer of Aeon Bank Malaysia Berhad, appointed in November 2024. He holds a degree in Human Sciences from International Islamic University Malaysia and brings with him more than 24 years of experience in the banking industry, with deep expertise in retail banking, digital business, marketing, and transformation management. Before joining Aeon Bank, Mr. Izzuddin was the head of digital banking at Standard Chartered Bank Malaysia, where he and his team introduced several industry-first innovation in digital banking and payments, significantly advancing the digital transformation landscape in Malaysia's financial sector. I am so excited to have them both with us today. Let's welcome our panelists with a big round of applause. Without further ado, let's continue this session. Okay, let's begin with the first question. Culture often determines how people work, communicate, and innovate. From your journey building EMB Connect and engaging with SMEs, what does a strong culture mean to you, and how does it translate into business resilience? Welcome, Mr. Cham.
Hello, good morning, our chancellor and all the professors and doctors. Okay, very good question about the industry. When you talk about, we do a lot of research and actually from our technologies, but sometimes how we go to commercialize, and we will definitely will facing some what you call a cultural gaps, right? So I just sharing some ideas on our Malaysian and China. When I actually in Chinese and Malaysia also. When we develop the AMB is Islamic Equity Cloud Funding Platform, right? So when we go to develop this software or our platform, when we engage a Chinese to understand our Malaysian platform, right? What they're facing, the different cultures, right? The interface, their environment, their financial background also totally different. So we have to, sometimes we have to take a lot of time to convince, to educate or sharing the difference between Malaysia and China. And I sharing another case about myself in corporate advisory. I was in China as a corporate advisory for more than 8 years. What we are facing in these cultures, actually from talking about when we go to do any business, all kind of business, today we talk about innovation, right? So when we talk about the investment from China, or we invest to China, right? So two countries is totally different law. The law is different. So the mentality, the thinking, the working environment, the management skill, actually we are from UK based and Chinese, they have their Chinese base. So the gap is definitely very big, right? So we have to spend a lot of time to transform them. I will advise the Malaysian go to invest in China, I will tell them, okay, you have to forget what you know in Malaysia before you go to China. Because if you don't put yourself in China law, then definitely you are in trouble. It's the same thing. When the Chinese come to Malaysia, they come to invest in Malaysia, right? I have to convince them, you forgot what you know in China because of Malaysia is followed by the common law. Our law is different. So if you're still thinking about the business environment in China, then definitely when you come to Malaysia, you will face a big problem, especially facing our law. So another experience on myself is we did in software in China, right? Malaysian colleagues go to China, we go to develop ticketing software in China. But our Malaysian system, we have to localize. We have to localize. It's a very big cultural gap. It's not because of the index of cultures. It's because of the living culture is different. So we have to change our mindset that we have to study how their theme park, okay, how they are, when they are golden holiday, 7 days, the long queue, then we have to know what is our big gap on this, right? Okay, thank you.
Wow, that's a powerful sharing and perspective. Thank you, Mr. Cham. Mr. Aizuddin, how does this resonate with your experience, especially given your work in banking area? How does Aeon Bank leverage behavioral and cultural insights to design more inclusive personal banking experiences?
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Noraini, right? You know, when you were introducing me just now, and then you said I had more than 24 years of banking experience, that just makes me realize how old I am actually. But I think, you know, with the time that I spent in the industry, I've actually been very privileged and very fortunate to be at the forefront of how Malaysia has developed as a country digitally. All right. I would say that Malaysia today is already one of the most advanced countries in the region, if not the world, when it comes to our ability to serve customers, banking customers, all right, over digital devices, all right. Even from using online to payments, it's very advanced, right? I visit Australia quite regularly because my parents live there, and for them, they've never seen what is QR payments before, and as an example, all right? They don't know what it is, but for us, we are already quite advanced. So having that breadth of experience, I've had the chance to see all these things, but one thing that remains in common over the years of time that I've spent is that the banks must design for the local people first. The banks must address the needs and the nuances of the local culture and communities. Now, I'm in Eon Bank today, and one of the mandates that Bank Negara gave the 5 digital banks who received a license a few years ago, including Eon Bank, was that we must develop services that will assist the underserved in Malaysia. And the underserved community in Malaysia is actually quite significant. If you think about it, it is not a question of wealthy versus not wealthy. It can actually even be between age groups, all right? For us, young people are underserved, right? They don't understand what financial literacy means, financial education means. Even older people are also sometimes underserved in this country. So how do we serve them and fulfill our mandate, our digital banking license mandate? And at Eon Bank, what we've done is that from the very first, when we were designing the bank, we were thinking very hard about what would be useful, what would be important for the underserved market. How do we reach out to them? How do we communicate with them effectively? So, for example, all right, we were one of the first digital banks to launch dual language, native dual language capabilities for our services in both English and Bahasa Malaysia. All right, we don't use a translator like some of the other banks do. We actually have a team in the bank that specializes in the Malay language and programs everything natively. So that is a tremendous effort that's required, but we realize how important it is if we are going to fulfill that mandate, all right, to be inclusive. Another example is we realize that Malaysians, they want to save. Actually, if you ask a youngster or you ask anyone, do you want to save your money for the future? And the answer is always invariably yes, but. But what? This is a local phenomenon that we've realized that people, sometimes they have emergencies. They want to take out the money, so they don't want to put it in unit trusts, stocks, equities, or even term deposit. So that's why you see the digital banks today, and I believe all the digital banks have this. We have what we call savings pots that allow customers to save small bits of money whenever they can, so that they can then use it in the future. But the savings pot will give them the profit rate even though they remove the money at any time. So that type of understanding of what is the demands of the market, I think is very important. And with how we are progressing right now, I think even more so in the days to come. Things are moving so quickly, all right? The next generation knows so much more than we do, right? We need to understand them and we need to be able to serve them.
Wow, what I have heard from both of you is amazing and exciting. But it also seems like there is a bit nuance in the approach. Let's explore further about this. In the age of digital communication, what do you think is lost or gained in how people and organizations connect today, Mr. Cham?
Okay. when we sharing about this, talking about the issue of communication and digitalize, we talk about digitalize or what you call this IT, right? Now, a lot of people, they are all very depend on AI, right? But sometimes I feel that some business we still have very hands-on knowledge, right? You cannot everything depend on AI. For my understanding, AI they can learning a lot of things very fast. They can learning all kind of knowledge very fast. But it may be a fake information, right? How we go to check the information is original or fake, or is it workable or not workable? Sometimes in our life we have to, from our experience, we know that it is sometimes impossible for our information, especially when we talk about our digital world now, right? So what is the connection, the people in the organization? Some of our they say our colleagues, right? Sometimes they do depend on the digital information, right? But it may not fit to the actual customer service or our customers' needs. Then we only can do as a guideline for our digitals, and the real world, we have to work very humanistic to touching, human touch to our communication skill, right? Right.
Thank you, Mr. Chan, for your insight. Let's hear different angle from Mr. Aizuddin. Would you agree with it? Or do you see it differently based on your work in banking field?
You know, when I saw this question, when I heard this question, I was thinking, all right, now all the people in this hall, all right, all the people in this hall, all right, how many of us have actually gone into a branch, bank branch, recently? All right, I honestly doubt that many of us, myself included, I think I haven't stepped into a bank branch for years. All right. However, as a digital bank, Eon Bank is a digital bank, and we are not allowed to have branches, I actually personally feel that that is something that we've lost. We've lost the ability to connect with our branch, our banking officers face to face. We've lost the ability to talk to someone and tell them our unique problems and explain to them, boss, you know, my business, I need this loan, you know, I'm actually good for it. My bank statement maybe not so chantik, but I have all these extra things. These are the things you can explain to a person.
Yeah.
You can't explain this to a machine. We are on our app. I can't explain this to the app that I have all these things. Please give me this loan so that my business can survive. So we have definitely lost the human touch. We are moving very quickly and maybe too quickly into the world of technology and AI and robotics. I think a lot of the things that are going on today in this hall is talking about technology, AI, etc. But where is that human touch? And have we lost it? I think for banking, it's going away quite quickly, and I think that that's a problem that needs to be solved. So how are we going to solve it? All right. I know for a fact that there are some banks out there, maybe you know which one, claims to be the AI bank of the world. All right. A lot of claims. All right. I won't comment so much on that, but I'll share with you what Eon Bank is doing. What we are doing is that we are building technology. We're building our own AI that allows our customer service representatives to mimic human conversation. So you can open your Eon Bank app today. You can go to your customer chat. And when you try it, can you tell whether that is a human or whether that is a machine? I bet you won't be able to tell. If you can tell, let me know how you tell. I'll go and fix it. All right? The point is that the irony is, all right, as we move towards technology, further and further towards technology, we actually need to find a way back to get that human touch. And I think that's incredibly important because without that human touch, that ability to communicate, which is the whole point of this forum today, that ability to communicate and understand cultural nuances and interpersonal nuances will be lost. So I urge you, all right, think kindly of the banks that are doing their best to bring back that humility, that human touch.
Thank you, Mr. Azuddin, for very powerful insights. So we can see now the trends of thinking our young generation compared to the former one, the transformation to digital era with AI, no matter ChatGPT, Gemini, and so on, many types of AI have been embedded in the teaching or learning and whatever institutions and governance. So here, people have to think carefully on how to use it nicely, wisely, so that the human value not lost along the line. Okay, now, Mr. Chan, in your view, what are the biggest communication challenges between SMEs, academia, and government, and how might we bridge these gaps for greater social impact?
Actually, this is a very good question. When I am the board member of SME Corp, I in the government agencies, I feel that a lot of our Malaysian, actually we talk about enterprise, right? Because of our student here, after they graduate, they go to enterprise, right? Either they are workers or they are start up their own business. But sometimes Malaysian, we have a lot of very good agencies to help to start up, for grant for our enterprise, for loan, or whatever. But sometimes our universities, I have to say, the academia, how we go to get more information for our students before they graduate, right? How they can get their startup, how they get their funds, how they manage their business, or how they go to promote pitching. It's a pitching skill, right? Especially when you talk about AMB Connect, we are the equity crowdfunding platform. But a lot of these, myself is also a Meranti panel, right? When we get a lot of pitching in front of us, but a lot of scientists, they have very good products, but they don't know how to commercialize. This is why we can share that in the real world, the purpose for our research or the purpose for our innovation is talk about money only, all right? Of course, we can convince for any new technology, but this new technology, how we go to educate, how we go to make the market, how to create the market, right? So we have to understand these three portions. Academia is a very important part for all our scientists, right? But after this, who are their agents to promote their products? Who are the agents to sell the product or to commercialize their products? This happened in Nano Malaysia also, when the board member, Dato Sukri, asking me, hey, Mr. Cham, can you help us for commercialize our product, because of they have a lot of this patent. But after the patent, they don't know how to do the business. Because only the businessmen know how to do business. That's why sometimes I will say, very good idea must be have a very good market. Very good idea, but no market. Then the student, after they leave the school, good idea is still very good. But there are nobody willing to invest, right? The investor only talking about how much they can gain, right? Only the government agencies. That's why I say the academia, the universities, they have to connect it with all the government agencies, the Kun, Mara, Penas, right? SME Corp, or all agencies, Cradle Fund, from mostly all our government agency, we have a lot of fun. I just share with yours, we have 2 grants. Actually, it's a call invest from our MOF. One is called Call Safe. You can check from the MOF, right? There must be crowdfunding through the crowdfunding platform under Security Commission. The up to 10 million investment from government, right? Another fund is also under MOF, but through the Security Commission. The total up to 1 million. Mean you crowd 4 million, the government invest 1 million, right? This is 4 by 1. So this is why I can say, as a professional, we are the platform operator. We hope that we have to cooperate with academia for universities to let all our students know, okay, how they do their simple pitching skill, how they go to do the very simple cash flow management, and how to design their business model, right? Or unless, at least you have to, another partners that are very good in the financing. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Cham. How about you, Mr. Aizuddin? How do you see language and communication shaping customer relationship in a digital-first banking environment?
Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, right? I mean, language is important, and I think at least, definitely, certainly in Malaysia, all right, language is very important because we are such a multicultural, multiracial, multi-historical nation. We're a bit unlike the Americas or the UKs or even the Japan or the China, where society is a bit more homogeneous. All right, everyone in Japan speaks Japanese, everyone in China speaks Mandarin, everyone in America speaks English. All right. In Malaysia, if we really want to be truly, to serve the underserved, we need to have multiple languages. And yes, Eon Bank, and I think most of the banks already provide that. But more important than just what language you're using, I think it's very important to also understand how do we connect, all right? The purpose of language and communication, I mean, these are just the tools, but what is the purpose? The purpose of language and communication is to connect to your audience, and connecting to your audience is more than just choosing English, BM, or Mandarin. It needs to be about understanding them, helping them achieve their goals, and also being present in where they are, where the audience is. It's what I was talking about just now, that human touch is missing. And I think it's very important as we move towards a more digital-first environment as far as banking is concerned. There should be much more outreach, much more interaction and engagement. You know, thank you so much to UM for inviting me to have a chance to speak today, because this is my chance to engage and connect with everyone in this hall. Eon Bank also does a lot of activities on the ground. We also spend a lot of time on social media connecting with our audience. It can't just be about, here's our bank, use it or don't use it, we don't care. It needs to be about what can we do for you, and the only way to really understand that is to be connected. And that is really the purpose of language and communication as far as I see it.
Thank you, Mr. Cham and Mr. Aizuddin, for the wonderful and meaningful perspectives. You have both touched on the challenges and guiding principle in multidisciplinary communication from slightly different perspectives. I would like to delve deeper into how it happens in practice. in terms of effective and impactful partnership that can lead to sustainable and positive collaboration. Okay, impactful partnership often rely on human connection and shared values. From your perspective, Mr. Cham and Mr. Aizuddin, what are the key ingredients that make partnership, especially cross-sector collaborations, truly impactful and sustainable? Let's begin with Mr. Cham.
When you talk about the sustainability on our business partner, cross sectors, what you mean of cross sectors? They mean how sometimes we can say the integration of our business. When in engineering, we talk about integration, we have different parts. From a different part, we have a mechanical engineer, we have a software engineer, but we also need a businessman, a marketer. So between these different knowledge, from how we go to gather in this group of people, like we are the crowdfunding platform. We only provide the platform. So when a innovator, they come to us, they say, Mr. Cham, I need a fund for my business. But sometimes what he need or she need is who is your financial planner. At least you need a financial planner to design your business activities, your cash flow, right? This is a different sector, you see, right? And who is your undertake marketer? If let's say you have very good products or you have very good innovative software or whatever, right? I sharing with this my experience. We are in China, right? Well, apart from Germany, the software from Malaysia, but the market is from Chinese and the user from Chinese. So these different sectors, how we go to integrating in a team to run a business and make things happen, right? Business world is very simple. Just make things happen. Thank you.
How about you, Mr. Aizuddin?
Okay, for me, you know, I'm a bit of a thinker, right? When we talk about cross-sector partnerships, you know, I think the most important ingredient is that there must be some sort of shared values between the partners, all right? That's where the human connection is. Both sides must have the same answer to the question, why are we doing this? If you have the same answer to that question, then that partnership will work. If you have a different answer, like for example, I want to do it because of profit, and you want to do it because of social change, then that partnership is not going to work, all right? Not to say that profit is wrong, all right? I'm a bank, all right? I have to think in those terms. But at the same time, for Aeon Bank, the most important thing for us when we enter into a partnership is that we look for our partners to have those same common shared values, all right? And the ability for that partnership to produce positive and measurable change. It can't just be an MOU that you sign, that we're going to do something together somewhere in the future, and that nothing happens. Everyone forgets about that. That's not the type of partnerships that I think I want for our bank. We want partnerships where we can change the world together. And that requires a high degree of trust. And that requires a high degree of cooperation and understanding. And that only happens, again, through that human connection. So for example, Aeon Bank and I feel that we are great partners. We have been the partners for more than a year now. And the amount that we've shared with each other is fantastic. You know, in a bank, all right, let me just expand on this a little bit more. In a bank, we're very guarded over our customer data, for example. In a university, like the you're very guarded over your IP, all right? How can we work together, lower some of our common barriers so that we can take our strengths and produce that positive outcome. For example, I can share with you anonymized customer transaction data that's real, that's out there already, and what customers are doing. You can take that data, apply your IP to it, and find something that we can then use together in order to publish, in order to build something that's greater than just the two of us alone. You can't do it without my data. I can't do it without your brain power. So this is the type of partnerships, especially cross-sector, all right, that I wish we can grow further for both our benefits.
Thank you, Mr. Cham and Mr. Aizuddin, for very insightful sharing. So I like to bring this to the next question. Social sciences bring valuable insight to human behavior, culture, and system thinking. How do you think this perspective can strengthen Malaysia's SME ecosystem and entrepreneurial policies? How about it, Mr. Cham?
I think from this, we talk about the formal agreement. Okay, I mean our standard, so-called standard business model. So I'm sharing a very big impact. When the time 20 years ago, I'm in China, right? We are the Malaysian company. We do a ticketing software in China. Where we can claim we are the biggest, one of the biggest operator in China, right? So when the time 20 years ago, we go to talk with those operator, how we go to information of automotive or informative your operation or your management. We are very strong in business intelligence because of we are the businessmen. We know all these skills, but during the time, Chinese is still not, software is not still very open, no cloud server, right? So when we go to approach them, the first question they ask, they will throw to us. Chinese is very big, it's the highest population in the world. Why we need automation? This is what happened in China 20 years ago. Then we have to share with them, right? The innovation and the industry cultural change, right? To talk about the history from the Europe, how they changed their economy. Then finally, we can get seal tenders, right? Forbidden cities ticketing system is done by Malaysian. So we can very proud to say, as my experience, in my experience, changing somebody is not a very easy job. But you don't change them, you have no market, you have no business. So sometimes when we go to China, we are Malaysian software. We have to change ourselves, but also change their mindset. The mindsets are really there for 1,000 years, right? They talk to us, Mr. Cham, we are highest population. We impossible for us to do automation or auto gate. But finally, after a few years, we conquer the whole market. This is why I share with all our colleagues and our students, right? Don't give up for your innovative. Don't give up for your research. As long as you spend your time in research, look for your good partners, cross sector, look for your good partner, good for your good investors, invest on you. Make sure big things happen from the businessman. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cham. Okay, Mr. Aizuddin, in your view, what might be the next generation of connected banking look like, where technology, social insight, and human relationship merge?
You know, this is really my favorite question, all right? Because as a digital banker and a person who's been doing digital work my whole career, talking about technology and innovation really excites me, all right? So let me tell you what's going to happen, all right? Within the next 12, 24, 36 months, this is what's going to happen. You're going to have banks, all right, including Eon Bank, who will be able to be that financial personal assistant you wish you always had. You will have hyper personalization in your pocket, in your bank. You will have a bank that will remind you to pay your bills, because every month you pay the same bill, the bank knows when you're not paying it, or when you're missing the date, or when the date is coming close and you don't have enough money in your bank account. The bank knows. You will have a bank that will remind you, all right, that you need to save some money to achieve that goal of going for a holiday or buying that new car. All right. You will tell the bank, I want to save up 10,000 ringgit to go for my Umrah next year in December. How do I do that? And you will have a bank that will tell you exactly what you need in order to achieve your financial goals. This is coming, and this, I feel, is breaking down the barriers between, between what could have been, what isn't being done today and what's going to be done in just a few short months. This is not far away, All of this technology that I'm talking about right now is just a few steps away. And that's what's going to happen, all right, to most banks. And I can guarantee you, at least with Yuan Bank, that is our promise. We will use technology in order to bridge the gaps between the underserved and those who need more assistance. We will use technology in order to ensure that human feeling is not lost. And we will use technology in order to make your financial life better. That's coming, I promise you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Cham and Mr. Izzuddin, for the enriching discussion and the insightful perspective shared today. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have today's discussion. We have heard compelling insight in the Fireside Chat 1. A huge thank you to our panelists, Mr. Cham Oi Tong and Mr. Izzuddin Daniel Isham Cheong, for sharing your perspective and experience with such clarity and depth. As we close today's Fireside Chat on culture, communication, and connection, reimagining social science partnership for impact, one powerful idea resonates. Real impact happens when diverse forces align with a shared purpose. The pentahelix model reminds us the transformation doesn't rest on a single sector. It emerged through the synergy of government, academia, business, community, and media. When these 5 pillars come together with a foundation of cultural sensitivity, open communication, and deep human connection, social science becomes more than a tool for understanding. Thus, it becomes a force of action. What we have explored today is a call to move beyond theory into co-creation, where academics don't just study communities, but learn with them, where governments listen as much as where they lead, where businesses serve as ethical partners, and where media becomes a platform for inclusion, not just information. Let this be the beginning of our new kind of partnership, one that is interdisciplinary, intercultural, and interconnected, driven not just by research and data, but by dialogue and shared community. Thank you for joining us today. This journey of thinking and reconnecting for a greater impact of the Fireside Chat 1 session. I am Associate Professor Chemist Dr. Noraini Ahmad. It's been a great pleasure to guide this discussion. I hope you enjoy the rest of the event. Let us once again give them a round of applause. Thank you. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you to our panelists and moderator for the insightful discussion on the importance of culture and communication in fostering impactful collaborations. Ladies and gentlemen, We will now take a short break and networking session. During this time, the Universiti Malaya management team will conduct a brief walkabout across the exhibition area. Please take this opportunity to connect with fellow participants and visit the medical technology, pharmaceutical, and life sciences innovation showcase at the exhibition area. We will resume promptly at 11 a.m. and request that all participants to be here by that time for our second fireside chat. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we invite everyone in this hall to scan the QR code on the screen. The winner will be announced after the third fireside chat today, so please stay tuned and do scan the QR code. Another announcement that we would like to make is that for anyone who has lost a bag containing a car key, you may come to the front to collect your bag and your car key. Thank you. Kopi ya boleh. Kopi saya ada. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to invite all participants to take a seat as we will begin our second fireside chat shortly. Thank you. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We hope you had a pleasant networking break and enjoyed exploring the innovation showcase. We would now like to invite all participants in the hall to take a seat for the next fireside chat session, but you may also have a look at the booth in the hall. We now continue with our next section, Fireside Chat 2, titled Catalyzing Innovation, Building Strategic University Industry Partnerships. This session will explore how collaboration between academia and industry can accelerate innovation, bridge technology transfer gaps, and drive sustainable growth in Malaysia's innovation landscape. We are privileged to have with us an outstanding panel of experts, technologist Anwaruddin Saidu Mohammed, Honorary Secretary of the Malaysian Oil, Gas and Energy Services Council, MOGSC, Engineer Kwok Yew Ho, Group CEO, Synergy C. Berhad, Engineer Yao Chow Fong, Managing Director, Durian Consult Sdn Berhad, and Deputy President of the Institution of Engineers Malaysia. This session will be moderated by Dr. Arindam Chakraborty from the Department of Geology, Faculty of Science, Universiti Malaya. Please join me in welcoming our moderator and panelists to the stage.
Hello. Good morning, one and all sitting here, the delegates, the visitors, and the students. So today we have gathered here for the Fireside Chat Session 2, which is basically on catalyzing innovation, building strategic university-industry partnership. And we know that when it is a strategic university-industry partnership, serve as a critical engine for innovation, bridging academic research with practical applications. And university provides knowledge, scientific expertise, and skilled human capital, whereas the industry contributes in the financial resources, market insights, and technological infrastructure. So with this, and we have our panelists, great panelists here, three. One is the professional technologist Anwaruddin Saidu Mohammed, who is the Honorary Secretary for the Malaysian Oil, Gas and Energy Services Council, MOGSC. He is also the Legal Reform Advisor Panel for Ministry of Human Resources. So the next is Engineer Kok Wei Hoi, Group CEO, Synergy C. Berhad. Since 2022, he is serving as this position in the company. He is also the alumni of Universiti Malaya Faculty of Engineering. We have with us Engineer Yao Chow Fong, who is the Managing Director of Durian Consult SDN Berhad and Deputy President of the Institution of Engineers Malaysia. He is also a alumni from Faculty of Engineering. He is serving this company from 2013 onwards. So without wasting any time, the objective of this session is basically to explore how Malaysian industries across the energy, sustainability, and engineering are engaging universities to drive innovation and talent development, to identify the key enablers and barriers in building long-term, high-impact industry-university collaborations, and to showcase the successful models of co-creation, technology transfer, and workforce readiness for the industry. So first of all, with these small objectives for our session, we will be having each of you 3 minutes each and one different questions to each of you. So first of all, I will go to Mr. Anwaruddin. So the question is, the oil, gas, and energy sector is a backbone for Malaysia's economy, basically. And we know that from 1974 onwards, when the Petronas came into existence, and the Malaysian economy has a very different way acting with the oil and gas. Yet it's undergoing a massive transformation with the sustainable energy, with the fossil fuel usage, as we know. So what role can universities play in supporting the industry's innovation and sustainable agenda?
Okay, thank you, Doctor. Unfortunately, I'm not the alumni of but I do have a small office here doing research together with for oil and gas industry. When I see that there's a lot of resources available in especially great minds, young ones, who can culminate great stuff for our industry. I want to give a perspective of the industry, so-called oil and gas and energy, just to have a flavor of what it is. And many people probably will think that oil and gas is all about driving a car, but actually it's not. We are actually one of the oldest industry in Malaysia, more than a century old. We actually started in 1911 by indigenous people called Penang, not Penang, Pinan in Sarawak, which they used to use the seepage of oil and gas to run and basically provide candle to the homes. So since then we have developed so far Malaysia. So if you ask somebody, what is Malaysia made of? Like we made of something. What is the country made of? Malaysia is made of oil and gas as the fabric of the nation. Why? Over the century, especially when the nation got autonomy of managing our own resources in 1974, like Dr. said, we have developed the nation by bits and pieces, by puzzle, one after the other, so-called the nation that we know today. And I just want to give you some flavor of what in the economic engine, or we call it socio-economic engine, as of 2023. Consider this. The nation's government's proceeds in 2023, 160 billion out of 320 billion is from oil and gas. Taxes, levy, dividend, and so many things. That's why it became a national newspaper when Petronas, declare lower dividend, because it's very, very important. That is actually 40%. So for students or academician, the faculty, university, hospital, schools, roads, you just need to remember one thing. 40 cents of every ringgit that built infrastructure around the nation, which we call fabric of the nation, it actually came from oil and gas. Now consider the second point. The nation has been producing through the productivity, we call it GDP, gross domestic product. 20% of 1.6 trillion ringgit in 2023, which account for 320 billion ringgit, came from oil and gas, 20%. And we are 160,000 workers in oil and gas. And Malaysia, almost half the population works and registered. So that's 16 million workforce. So that's merely 1% of the population, working population, produce 20 times the impact, which is 2 million. So basically, each worker, on average, produce 22 million contribution to the nation as compared to national average. But again, that's actually the history. But going forward, we have a lot of challenges to face, and one of it is actually to be competitive. And the oil price today is quite low, about $60. And in fact, the oil price can actually dominantly influence so many other commodity price. And therefore, it's very important for us to competitively position the nation, and innovation and technology become a very important, crucial pillar in doing so. So the next time you talk about oil and gas industry, you should imagine it's a lot more than mobility of the car. In fact, we don't even call ourselves as actually oil and gas or hydrocarbon provider. No, we call ourselves as a molecule provider. And basically, if in this hall, you can imagine whatever you see, you touch, I can guarantee you 90% of what you see and touch is related to molecules of hydrocarbon. The shoe polish, the fabric, the solvent used to create fabric, the LCD in the phone, the glass making, the steel making, the wood making, all of that is more than 1.5 century of science and engineering built molecules supported by oil and gas industry. And it is 80% contributor to the energy industry as we know today, to ensure that the university is light up, the tadika, the kindergartens light up, the schools are light up, and we can actually work in office. So that's oil and gas, and I think I look forward to get to the next stage. Thank you.
So it's a nice way to start up, Mr. Anaruddin. So, and I know without fossil fuel, it's really hard to, we are going to the electric vehicles, but at the end, we are again using the electric from the coal in Malaysia. So we have to think a lot where we are going. So the next question is to Mr. Koch. So Synergy C focuses on renewable energy and sustainability. So these two areas where research and development and innovation are very critical. How has your organization engaged with universities in driving this agenda?
Yes, thank you very much. So, yeah, good morning, everyone. My name is Kwok Yu Ho, and also I'm an alumni of Universiti Malaya Engineering Faculty, Electrical Engineering. So it's very nice to be here. So firstly, I will just have a very quick update on Synergy C, my company. Synergy is a company that is under a subsidiary of UAM group, and we are investor and developer, owner and operator of renewable energy plants in Malaysia and also in Southeast Asia. But for now, we mainly focus in Malaysia. We started in biogas, mainly biogas from production of waste, specifically palm oil waste, wastewater. But now we are also in solar. We build solar farms and solar on the rooftop, as well as mini hydro power plants that supply renewable energy to the national grid in Malaysia, in Peninsular Malaysia, as well as in Sabah. So based on all our involvement in renewable energy, I think the one that very specific to Malaysia and where Malaysia has a advantage is actually because of palm oil. Yeah? Malaysia is the second largest producer of palm oil in the world after Indonesia. And we are developing biogas from the waste of the palm oil wastewater. Yeah? So we don't let the wastewater go to waste. We actually generate biogas out of it. If we don't do that, the wastewater will just generate biogas, but it will be released into the atmosphere. So what Synergy does is that we have a system where we trap the gas, we make use of the gas, clean it, and then we either make electricity out of it, or we bottle it, and then we deliver it to companies like factories, yeah, as biomethane. So biomethane is a replacement or augmentation of natural gas. Natural gas, of course, in oil and gas, you get a lot from the seabed. That is widely available. But biomethane is a new kind of natural gas where it is renewable. Of course, from the renewable sources like waste or palm oil or even landfill. This is renewable. Yeah? So I think this is where a lot of companies are focusing on, because everyone wants to do decarbonization. Everyone wants to do meet their ESG goals. Yeah? So that's where we are focusing on. And in Malaysia, I would say that the production of biogas from waste is something that we are focusing on. And that is where we are planning to work with a few universities to develop this research into these areas. Yeah? That means more innovative ways to develop usable products. One of them is biomethane, and also from different kind of feedstock and waste. Yeah? For example, we currently don't use physical waste, like empty fruit bunch from palm oil waste. We currently don't use that to make biogas. But I would like to say that currently we are in a partnership. We are supporting Universiti Malaya engineering faculty, specifically the team of Professor Adeline Chua. She is has a project, a research project on co-digestion of palm oil meal effluent. So due to this project, she and her team needs collaboration from industry, because they need access to industry installations. And Synergy, we do have access to that. We operate many biogas plants. So this is where we come in as a collaborator with research. So I would say that we can provide support, yeah? And the research institution, for example, like Universiti Malaya, provide all the, what do you call, breakthrough, and also the research and development. So I think that is something that more recently, it is something that especially our company, we have decided to do more of. And also we allocate a certain portion of our revenue. We start small, yeah, a certain small portion of the revenue to do investment into R&D. So this is something that we do see traction in Malaysia. And I think if you look into the news recently, the government through Ministry of Finance and also through the government linked companies, I think there's a program, it's called Gear Up. And these are the programs that specifically encourage innovation and startups, yeah, also in collaboration with universities, because that is where the government also realizes that Malaysia does need to focus on innovation. I think it's something that we really need to focus on, yeah, and so for us, that is something that we really support together with universities.
Thank you, Mr. Koy. So it's a real way of contributing the university, being alumni from this university. So, and The next question goes to Mr. Yao. So as both an engineering leader and also a representative from IEM, what do you see as the most pressing needs from industry that academia can help address?
Thank you once again to the moderator. Thank you also for inviting me today. I'm Yao here, together with good friends of mine. I know them quite some time already, so it's more friendly chat as well. So I think the question, tough questions to ask, because first we have a lot of demands, and of course there are a lot of industry grumbling. But I believe it is good also, so that we can actually identify the gaps and what are the things that we need to look at. So I think the most pressing needs for industry, especially the collaboration between industry and university, I believe is the first is of course the manpower, okay, the skills of our graduate engineers or graduated alumni of the university. Because being in industry, being in the engineering industry per se, there are a lot of demands, especially in our industry. Like I think Kuala also mentioned, sustainability, there will be engineers required, oil and gas, engineers required. Recently, just now, the Keynote, AI, we also need engineers. In other industries, especially in the industry sector, for example, the industry that I'm in, data center, they also need engineers. So you can see a lot of demand being shout out by our industry. This is actually very, very real, because whenever we wanted to actually employ engineers, it is not easy to find engineers nowadays. So we saw the manpower shortage, and it is time for us to also work with university to look at why there's a mismatch and how we can actually reduce this. For example, like having we have to actually work with the university to look at what are the demand, the supply, and of course the supply and demand. The supply from the university and what are the demand as well. So of course it's a chicken and egg thing, whether it's a supply comes first or demand comes first, but I think we have to actually come to the point that let's look at what is the industry requirements for manpower and what are the supply from university, be it from UM or other universities locally. So we have to look at it, and that will help us to reduce this manpower issue. But we also understand there are a lot of loopholes and gaps. For example, engineers or even others who actually work abroad instead of in Malaysia itself. So that is one of that. Second is, especially in engineering, there is actually a lack of lack of the passion to continue doing engineering. They may go to other fields like economy, become in economies, or even in commerce, e-commerce, and so on. So this is where, again, I think we have to work together to actually attract and, of course, make sure that we don't have actually issues of actually, although they are engineers, but they do not want to actually work as an engineer after they graduate from the university. So this is actually the pressing demand, one of them. Second is, just now I think Kuala also mentioned, there's a lot of research and also innovation, and of course, project research, especially industry research. So perhaps also time for us to look at how industry can play a bigger role in university, especially in churning out those industry-based research. Because in industry itself, of course, we have a lot of issues. We have a lot of like requirements that we want someone to do research. It's just that we have not reached out to the university. So it's time for us to bridge this gap. And secondly is industry itself also may have issues like, you see, Malaysia, we always tend to actually adopt technology from other countries. Okay, so for example, just now I was just chatting in the morning session. In data center, we have a lot of like cooling technology. Okay, cooling. Now you go into immersion cooling, liquid cooling, and all that. But all these are from overseas. So it's time for us to actually look at how Malaysia, in the university context, can play a role as well in assisting on research and creating more local-based research and local innovators, and of course, like what Kuok mentioned, startups, to assist not only engineers, but also the industry in churning out new ideas for us. Because we have to move towards not only just adopting from other countries, but of course moving towards creation, innovation, and of course coming up with something for our own as well. Okay, and the last pressing need is, of course, again, time for us to work with. You see, for industry players, we always have this issue. We don't have time to do research. Let's say, for example, on AI, or even in energy sector, and so on. It's time for us, whenever we need assistance or need experts, we have to refer to someone. So university is the right place, and this will also help us because we can actually, reduce the gap between university and industry, where industry can actually engage university lecturers or even academicians to be part of the industry engagement, especially when you deal with international projects and so on. We always lack of experts. So we always depend on engineers, which we do not have time to do research itself. So it's time for us to maybe work together with university and come up with some program together, and we do a collaboration between university and industry, because this has been a lot, I've seen a lot in other countries. I don't mention countries, but they have been doing that, and it's time for us to do that as well. Okay, that's all for my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yao. So it's really nice to that industries need people from the universities, but we need to introduce the innovative mindset for the students. That is needed by the industry, because they want some innovation, not only as a technology working as a workforce. Innovation is also needed to innovate something for Malaysia. So the next question to Mr. Anwaruddin. From MOGC's perspective, how can industry associations like yours act as bridge between academia and the member companies to accelerate research and technology adoption?
Thank you. Thank you, Yao, for some point. I'm going to use his point. Now, before I go on and talk about what an association will do, I think we need to set the tone right on why is the landscape we are operating today. We are, relatively old nation. We have a lot of industry matured, but the question is, where are we in terms of groundbreaking research or innovation on the ground? Not so much, as compared to many other nations. Now, I want to pick one nation. Why? Because related to energy industry. And it's quite easy to compare. And unfortunately, don't quote me on the negative side. Recently, the newspaper publication came out from MOSTI saying that we need to produce a lot of PhD and researchers. Now, let me turn the coin again. Norway, a country that close to oil and gas energy industry. Do you know Norway produce 100% of the oil and gas and make money by selling, and use 100% of renewable for their own use? Okay, next. The country, about 50 to 60 years ago, everybody was farmers. It was a farming nation. Today, I can ask you, apart from China, which is now almost dominating every single part of the technology, the next one that stand up is not America, it's actually Norway. And over 60 years, from farming nation, now global dominant in innovation space, and producing groundbreaking innovation that everybody use. We are the user. Oil and gas industry use 80% of technology from Norway. Okay, what happened? And actually, they don't have many PhDs, to be honest with you. And they don't focus on producing PhD and producing the publication. They actually make sure the industry is inside the university and the university inside the industry. And it's inseparable. Sometimes I get confused when I travel to university. This one is belong to whom? University or an industry? This one belong to industry or a university? In fact, back then in UK, I did my postgraduate in Imperial College. In Imperial College, when we walk out the courtyard where the labs are, and if you go to the lab, the first thing you will see is the timetable. Here, if you walk into a university laboratory, you will see a timetable also. That timetable will be about classes, right? But their timetable is not like that. Their timetable will have a company name in the timetable. The slot belongs to that company name. What's happening? It's a culmination of the industry practitioners, all of them are actually in the university. And their employees are university, doing research, using facilities of, but sometime in Malaysia, it's quite heartbreaking to see fantastic facilities are actually just like, just left behind to peril, and is occupied by nothing. But in the universities in overseas, it is fully utilized by the co-creation. So we don't even call it collaboration, we actually call it co-creation. They create together. And that is actually, unfortunately, not a culture we are here. Are we not having enough money? No. If you look into the 2019-2021 indexes, China and Malaysia, in terms of GDP percentage investment, is pretty close to each other. Percentage of GDP. But of course, our GDP is small, but again, our population is small too. But where is our focus? I think the problem here is that the focus. I think I told this to Prof. Tan here and some of the high-ranking officials in Mosti too. Many years ago, I went to MOHI, Malaysia of Higher Education Ministry. But now it's no longer. I recently went, it's no longer there. We actually, our culture is proud of credential and credibility. Somebody else have to tell me that, Anwar, you're good. So we always rely on paper. We are not self-sufficient in who we are. So that's why everybody chase after paper qualification, journals, and so on. But many organizations, many nations actually don't focus on that. They focus on real products and real commercialization value. So if as I walked into the lobby many years ago, I saw a patent chart. The chart that shows growing number of patents. Then I asked myself, is it relevant? Is it important? But what happened to the patent is more important than actually the number of patents, isn't it? And that is a big question mark. So how do we value our collective resources in Malaysia? What do we do with the resources? Actually, we do have a lot of resources. But I think I see everywhere, not only, I mean, not talking about university alone, but almost all sets of institutionalized process in Malaysia lack targeted development. It's always about satisfying. Everybody very happy to get 100 ringgit. Right? But does everybody need the 100 ringgit? No. So we are actually being populist in satisfying so many people. But at the end of the day, we sacrifice the real growth that is right in front of us appearing. The right kind of decision that we need to make today. I think that's what really important, to actually ask pragmatic and difficult questions. People may not be comfortable with those questions, but the uncomfortable question is what really will lead to the right answers. I think what I'm trying to conclude here in my second phase here is that there's a landscape that we need to revitalize or rejuvenate in order to put things in the right context. And university definitely play an important role, at least from the nation who have proven with credibility, proven with what they can achieve through the innovation and technology. In today, Norway, we call a nation, even if they run out of oil and gas, they actually don't have to worry, because they have tens and tens of thousands of technology being exported, which earns income to the nation, that they can be independent of hydrocarbon. And it is also for the same reason they have the biggest sovereign wealth fund in the world, the biggest ever, because they knew exactly the difficult question to ask and how to answer them. And that's exactly we need in our nation and in our universities too. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Anaruddin. Yes, you are definitely right that we need to think our mindset, change our mindset a bit and think about the nation. And the next question to Mr. Ko, what are the biggest enablers to forming long-term high-value collaborations between energy companies and the university?
Okay, thank you. Well, I think enablers, the biggest enabler that I believe is there is actually the will of the companies or the ecosystem for us to develop research. I think many years ago, I think maybe the ecosystem was a bit different, but I really feel now, especially the last maybe 2 or 3 years, things have become a bit different. The attention to research and development is getting more. And I think from the industry as well, But still, I think if you compare ourselves to, of course, jurisdictions that have developed this ecosystem more, we are still at the beginning stage. So I think even though we are at the beginning stage of this, what I mean is that not beginning as in research in university. Research in university, as you can see in this forum here, there's so much research here. But I think the development of that research into usable innovation that can be used in a corporation, or in industry. I think that is the area where there needs to be more effort, especially from the industry. That's where industry representatives like me and my company, that's where we can play a role. But of course, it has to be supported by the government and also by general public that believe in this. So I believe and I feel that this is something that moving in the right direction right now. And this is something that we need to take you need to have a leap of faith. You need to do something about it. And research is never fixed. You may get something out of it. You may not get something out of it. But I think that's something that we really must do. I think in the past, especially many corporations also had a real emphasis on returns. Returns on investment, obviously. So when you take returns on investment calculations into research, of course, sometimes you make it, many times you don't make it, because that's the nature of research and development. So I think that's something that we really do need to take cognizance of, And for us, I think that's something that we are prepared to at least start to do that, So I think that's one key thing, which is the will to do it. That's number one. And I think the second one is also funding. So funding, of course, to university, it is important. Also to the industry. For example, providing funding for research. How do you turn that funding into something that is tangible for your investment? So of course, we are knowing that it's research. Probability of not having anything tangible come out of it is always there. I think we all have to understand that. But what if it does? So then I think the key thing between the research, academia, and also industry is to have an understanding from the beginning that if you do this and something comes out of it, what is your plan to commercialize it, or what is your plan to make it available to the market? I think that thinking from the beginning, at least from a very high level perspective, is important, because obviously industry focus and also academic focus sometimes is different, I think academic focus need to focus on breakthrough research, whereas industry is usually on usability of the product. So I think that is important from the beginning to have an understanding how you're going to make use of this research when it really comes to fruition. So I think those are the two key elements that I can address.
Thank you, Mr. Ko, to let us know the high value cooperations between the energy sector and the universities. So the next is to Mr. Yao. So engineering education has been a long bridge between the theory and practice that we know. And how can this engineering profession strengthen the collaboration between the universities to nurture innovation-ready graduates, basically? So that's really hard, I think.
Thank you. This question, okay. For this question, I think how do we nurture industry to actually also work towards together with the university? I think currently there are already a system, but it's just that how we want to actually improve it. For example, I think most of the university you have the industry advisor panel, or you call it IAP or whatever. So I think it's time for us to maybe for IAP, we have to actually maybe involve the industry more into the university. For example, because you see, industry would have the first-hand information about the latest emerging technology, latest what I call transformation of the industry or technology. So it's time for us, whenever there is actually a new thing happening in industry, for example, AI, of course now already there. For example, in future, there will be new energy, like, for example, hydrogen, or even other types of emerging technology. And also other upkeeping of a new technology, like, for example, now you have BIM, building information modeling, and so forth. So all this, I think the industry plays a role to inform or even share this with the academicians, or even in the university, so that they are aware. And at the same time, IAP, hopefully the industry would also engage university in some of their day-to-day work. For example, be involved in some of the projects, some of the parts of the project, so that the university lecturers or researchers are able to understand what is happening in the industry. So this has to be two ways. Instead of us always going into the university should also be there in the industry. So that is one of the things that I think could actually make it in a better way, a better, what do you call it, ecosystem of this. Second thing is of research. Again, we do understand that a lot of research is coming from university. So I think the industry also needs to play a role, perhaps in the coming years, because I was just chatting just now. Some of the other countries, they have a lot of their employees who are actually researcher itself. So they have maybe they have actually done some research in the university as part of their work, or during their tenure as an engineer or whatever, they also do some research as well. So we should bring this into the picture of in the context of industry, where researchers shouldn't be just in university; they could also work in the industry. So I tend to believe we are a bit lacking on that, especially in engineering. We don't have much. In fact, my company, I don't have. Maybe I have one PhD holder in my company. So we should bring more of this kind of collaboration. They can do it maybe before they finish their master or research, or they can actually do it during the when they work. We are lacking of that, because after they work, they will tend to forget that I can actually do research and so on. They just continue to work and just do whatever they do daily. So that's why perhaps it's time for us to look at this research, where research can be also done in the industry. And of course, at the same time, we can also go back to the university to actually share with them what type of research that is actually beneficial to the industry. Yeah, so this is a two-way thing that I think a way forward for Malaysia to move forward on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. O. Definitely, University Malaya is always open for industrialization, and we are also welcome to collaborate with the industries, and definitely we have collaboration with the industries, and we want to continue that thing. With this, I want to close this with a last question to all of the panelists here. If you could describe a successful partnership in one word or a phrase, what would it be? So first, Mr. Anaruddin.
I think I'm afraid not one word, because to speak to you already many words. Probably just half a minute if you don't mind. By the way, just to inform, Moxie has taken a pragmatic action to collaborate very closely with Universiti Malaya since last month, or last 1.5 months ago. So we have established a collaboration with the to churn out as many matched, applicable and practical collaboration, research, and also commercialization in nature with Universiti Malaya to ensure that our nation have energy sustainability and environmental stewardship. These are two important areas of our collaboration with Universiti Malaya. We'll continue to support Universiti Malaya in doing so, because we see tremendous opportunity for multidisciplinary growth. I mean, because the collaboration that energy industry will look for is actually multidisciplinary, beyond one type of discipline. Now, in order to close that, I have a pantun. I'll keep it very short to all of you. Ilmu di kampus, tenaga di medan. Satukan minda, gerakkan badan. Bila universiti dan industri berpadu tangan, inovasi Malaysia pasti gemilang di masa hadapan. Thank you.
Thank you. Really a nice way of telling how industry partner with the universities. So the next, I go to Mr. Kok for in a one word or in a phrase. How can you tell it?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I think as a closing, maybe just 1 or 2 more points. I think maybe I've shared before, but I think a clear understanding from both researcher as well as the industry on the steps for eventual step for commercialization So I think after the research is done or the breakthrough is done, I think at the early stage, both parties should have that understanding at the early stage. So I think that is really helpful because at the end of the day, the research would be able to generate something new and relevant for use in the industry. So I think that is something that is important. And secondly, I think I would like to add that the role of standardization or writing of standards is important. There are many standards in the world, majority of which obviously it doesn't originate from Malaysia, in other parts of the world, yeah. And usually in Malaysia we are the user of these standards, yeah. But I think there are some area that we can actually write standards, and SIRIM and also National Standards Council is actually developing some of the Malaysian developed standards. We do have some areas that Malaysia is actually at an advantage. For example, yes, again, palm oil, because we are the producer of palm oil. So requirements for products associated or coming out of palm oil, we don't expect a Western country to write those standards, yeah? Malaysia should take the lead in writing those standards relevant to that. And I think when you have the standards, then this is the standards that is applicable. And then you take the leadership because you have the opportunity to write the standards. And I think that's where industry as well as academic researchers can come together to promote this, yeah, and develop more standards developed in Malaysia for the benefit of the industry as well. So these are my two closing points. Yeah?
Thank you, Mr. Goh. So to Mr. Yao again, what is your remarks?
Okay, my remarks is I think I'm very proud because I'm of course an alumni of I'm very proud that today you have this session. Especially I can see a lot of crowd, especially on the research and of course their products and of course papers. I think we should keep it up and of course involve more industry, bring more industry, and of course being the past alumni chair and of course the current chair is here. We hope to bring more alumni to come back to know about this, so that they are aware how they can contribute, especially in the industry, back to the university. That's one of it. And one word, of course, I like to just now you mentioned about one word that we can use is very simple word, connecting between university and industry. So very simple. We need to connect between university and industry and make the connection stronger and wider as well. Thank you.
Thank you. All the panelists is here for introducing how can we connect and capitalize our innovation ideas for increasing the economical power for Malaysia. And with this, I thank you to all the three panelists, Mr. Anaruddin, Mr. Kok, and Mr. Yao. So all of us to giving us time for to come here to and sharing your knowledge. Thank you very much.
Thank you to our distinguished panelists and moderator for a stimulating discussion on how strategic partnerships can create a powerful ecosystem for innovation. Your insights remind us that collaboration is not just about sharing resources, it's about sharing vision and commitment towards national advancement. Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to inform that the Interact poster presentation session 1 just ended. Thank you very much to all the judges and the participants for participating in the first session. The next Interact session will start at 2 p.m. You are welcome to stay for the next fireside chat session and visit the Innovation Expo and Economic Catalyst in respective Zone B and Zone C. Please do not forget to scan the QR code displayed to stand a chance to win attractive prizes waiting for your luck. And now we move on to our final fireside chat for this morning. The third session is titled Fueling University Startups Real Support or MT Talk, We will explore how universities can play a stronger role in nurturing startups and what is needed to ensure ideas don't just remain in research labs but reach the market and make a real difference. Our esteemed panelists for this session are Professor Insinyur Dr. Abdul Aziz bin Abdul Rahman, Registrar, Universiti Malaya, Mr. Abdullah Hidayat, Co-Managing Partner, Investment and Operation of Ficus Capital, and Ms. Zelia Tong, Chief Operating Officer, Pitch In, Malaysia's leading equity crowdfunding platform. This engaging session will be moderated by Dr. Wan Raihana Wan Asim, Vice President Wan Developmental Fund Management Department, MTDC. Let's welcome our panelists and moderator with a warm round of applause.
Right. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning to everyone here today at the Universiti Malaya Research, Innovation and Industry Summit 2025. It's really wonderful to see a full room here at Universiti Malaya Research, Innovation and Industry Summit. And today we are moving on to our panel, which is Fueling University Startups, Real Support or Empty Talk. Right? So this is a very important question. Are we really or truly supporting our university startups? Now today I have with me a very distinguished panel. So hopefully it's not just going to be empty talk, it's going to be a real discussion on how our university startups can get access to support and what needs to be done to ensure the support that's already out there reaches our university startups. Now allow me to move on to introducing our panels. First of all, allow me to introduce Professor Abdul Aziz, a well-known figure in does not need any introduction to those of you in but Prof. Abdul Aziz is a respected figure in academic innovation. He's a champion of research translation and entrepreneurship programs and has reshaped how supports its spin-offs and student-led ventures, and he is currently the registrar for as well. Oh, okay. Hello, is that better? Still the same, okay, right. So, I mean, those of you in the audience, you can hear me, right? All good? All right, lovely. I would also like to introduce next Ms. Zelia Tong, who's the Chief Operating Officer of Pitch In. And she has a long history of working in various organizations as well. She's been with MDV, Cradle, and she's now the pioneer in Malaysia's crowdfunding ecosystem. She has helped countless startups, including those which are university-linked startups, and helping them to access early-stage funding through alternative financing. And last but not least, we also have with us today Encik Abdullah Hidayat, who is the partner at Ficus Capital, one of Malaysia's active venture capital funds, and he also works very closely with early stage and research-driven startups to prepare them for investment and growth. Okay, I myself am Raihana from MTDC. I'm also I also am part of an organization, MTDC, which funds early stage startups and things like that. So I'm looking forward very much to the conversation here today. We don't have a lot of time, so we'll just go straight into our discussion for today. First of all, let's talk about university startups and are they really ready to make that entrepreneurial leap, right? So we've seen that over the past few years, Malaysia's universities have made a lot of progress in terms of establishing holding companies and embedding entrepreneurship into education. So we've seen this cultural shift, academicians moving from the typical publish or perish kind of mindset to one that is indeed more entrepreneurial, right? So the question here now is, does our startups actually have a lot of the support in terms of the innovation ecosystem? So for this question, I'd like to first go to Prof. Aziz. Prof. Aziz, you have been part of UM's innovation journey for a very long time. Now, what is it that you see in terms of the positive changes in commercialization of the UM's innovation? And what do we need to do more to help our researchers and students to see entrepreneurship as the next part of the journey in innovation?
Can you all hear me? Okay, I think there's a lot of echo. On the stage, there's a lot of echoes, that's why I couldn't really understand your questions, but you're asking us basically what the universities are doing, particularly is doing for the researchers to sort of push our commercialization and startup and all that. Is that what you're asking?
Yes, that's right, Prof.
Cannot hear. Oh, okay. What about now? Now better? Okay. Now, I'm just comparing 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and now. So I think compared to 10 years ago, 5 years ago now, one thing surely that has happened is we talk about it more. Lah. Okay. Are we doing more? I'm not sure. We means it's not only university and the whole ecosystem, the government or whatever. But within a lot of things is changing positively. Okay, number one, there are more researchers now who believe in these things. Okay, so we see critical mass of people who started talking about commercialization, doing research to develop technologies, solving problems, real industry problem and all that. That we see. That's number one. Number two, are we supporting this initiative? You see, when we talk about commercialization, people always talk about money. But after 30 years of being in this business of academia, I think money is never a problem. If you have a good project, you can always find people to take it up. Now, if you look at this handphone here, probably there are, I don't know, about 5,000 IPs inside to make up a iPhone. Betul. Now, when we researchers, including me, produce so-called patents or IPs or whatever, it is never complete. It is not a complete solution. So I would like to summarize and share my own experience. Right? Now, we started a small project with an industry. This industry was collecting waste, packaging waste to be sent to the central facility. One day we were sitting and asking me, hey, can I value add this process? Can I make some product out of this? I say, why don't we think about something? And it was $5,000 for undergraduate project. So we produced for them some kind of a formula to produce solid fuel out of this waste. This was 10 years ago. Then they came to us for a proper research project where they funded the project. Mistake number one that we made. So it was a contract research. Basically, we do the research, we give them the results, right? Now, after that, with that project, I continued personally as an academic, where we work with them to obtain the approvals and all that. So now there is a factory running in Malacca, where they are expanding the product to Thailand and other places. Now, what we learn from here is that if you have good ideas and in your mind, commercialization can happen. Universities can support that. So a lot of people can support that. So the problem with us now is we don't produce enough ideas. We don't have good ideas. We don't produce enough product or services that can be commercialized. Okay. So realizing this, university now have things in place, but it is still individual driven. Until now, I like to admit that we don't have strong institutional mechanism to support the commercialization and this, which we need to address it sooner than later. I think I stop there.
Thank you very much, Prof. So from what I get from what you've been saying is that there's a lot more awareness now among the researchers on what it needs to be, what needs to be done for commercialization and things like that. Yeah. All right. So let me go to Zelia next. Right. So Zelia, you have been in the industry for a long time. You've been with Cradle and MDB, and you've worked with many, I believe, university researchers. So what do you see university researchers now? Do you see them as different? Are they more business oriented and things like that? And also perhaps could you comment on what kind of improvement in terms of the support that's out there for university startups and founders?
Thanks, Dr. Wan. So I won't say 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years. I don't even count my birthday, so sometimes I don't remember how old I am. But I've seen in terms of positive development in the sense on the business propositions of innovations that's coming out from universities. I have seen teams that are now putting out their ideas for commercialization, where they're coming out to raise funds. They have better understanding in terms of how to make money, which is actually essentially quite important. I think they have actually been taught and exposed to by the support system that they may have had, say like with in the accelerator program and all, right? Where they help them to refine in terms of like, how do you get your innovation out into the market? And when you talk to investors, how you're supposed to position it. I've seen better propositions that's actually being made. Having said that, the one thing that I feel still requires a lot of work is the actual storytelling part. So I've been to a lot of innovation and technology sort of like conferences and expos. This is probably one that it's a bit different because when I walked in, all I saw was screens and all I saw were words on the screens. And that makes me think like, oh, this is a very different setting. I'm not sure, is it because we can't tell stories through visualization, which I do better with. And like, if you talk about investors today, they don't have the luxury of time. So if they were to come in here today and they say they only have an hour, to go through each one of these screens to kind of read and get excited about it, you probably won't get that kind of excitement out of the investor. So I feel the thing that has not exactly changed, it's how do you get yourself out there that makes it very interesting in potentially the 30 seconds somebody sees you or hear from you. But business proposition-wise, in terms of how they're modeling to make money and reach out and create impact, that I have actually seen improvements. Yes, so that's what I've actually observed over the years.
Right, so thank you very much, Zelia. And I think from what we can see from here is basically there is a lot of improvement in terms of how researchers are able to put forward their innovations and address what is the investor's perspective when they're putting forward pitches and things like that. And I'd like to point out, I think that a lot of this is due to that university support that we see coming from, and a lot of the universities out there really making that effort to ensure that researchers make that switch from being a researcher in the lab and thinking academically towards something more of an investor kind of perspective, right? So, all right, let's move on to Encik Hidayat. So Encik Hidayat, you as an investor, right, what is your point of view in terms of what's the hidden gold inside Malaysian universities today? Because we know that universities obviously are the source of all new innovations and things like that, but what is the untapped potential that you see inside the universities that should really be unearthed with the support that we have?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Wan. Thank you, for inviting me. Before I answer that, I'll give a bit of background. I think I've been engaging with actually for the past 4 or 5 years. And I think I've been reviewing 900 over IPs I saw that there are a lot of good research, a lot of good products, a lot of good research. And if I want to answer Dr. Wan's question very short, I'll say all of them are hidden gems, all of them are gold to be unleashed, but the challenge is who will know how to make it a product market fit? I mean, I'll be a bit more technical about this. The conundrum that I've been seeing for the past few years, I think is one of them, and many other universities in Malaysia, is that for many lecturers or researchers, when they do research, their conundrum is that they want to achieve certain research standard. They have to do all those wordings, all those detailed analysis on the technology. And they all talking a lot about expanding body of knowledge. And you know, to expand the body of knowledge, to refine that, to explain that in detail. But when things come to me as an investor, all we want to know, how do we expand our bank account? Period. We don't really, you know, your research is just as good as, you know, it's been endorsed, it's been approved, everything's in place. We take it as this product is solid. So when we want to invest, if any investor want to invest, the first question that they think of, how can I make more money with this product? So to answer your question, I think in you have a lot of products. I remember, looking each one of them, there's a lot of them. So how do we, you know, for investor to buy into the idea and to put in money, the investor need to have idea how can investor help to scale that product. I think at the end of the day, right, investment from any investor, it is not all about money. What we need, we always say, you need to have smart money or dumb money. Smart money, that means investor put in money and they have planned what to do. Dumb money, we just put in and we sleep. Let the company, let the founder work by itself. So I think for universities research, we need to find a lot more smart investor than dumb investor. Dumb investor is good for company that are already running, they have, you know, proper marketing plan, everything. But for universities, the kind of investor that we need to look and need to find investor with clear idea how to scale that product. So to answer your question, I think everything can be commercialized. You know, you can sell ice to anywhere, but that's the thing. You need to find good fit investor and product. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hidayat. Did you have something that you wanted to comment on that?
No, because Hidayat was emphasizing a lot about, like, as investors, yes, priority number one is I do want to see how my bank account expand. I think, but the good thing for a lot of the entrepreneurs in this room today who are innovating, whether you have really commercialized or going to commercialize or doing something where you feel that it will create an impact, I do feel timing is really right because there are now categories of investors who do not prioritize getting their bank account fat first. They are very much an impact-driven first investors. So yeah, it's not all doom. If you don't know how to make money from your innovation, but you know that it can make an impact to society and to the environment and all, yeah, don't be afraid to try to push forward because there are impact investors out there where they don't necessarily need you to make a lot of money, but they need to see that what you do can make a positive impact.
Excellent advice, Celia. So since you've already got the microphone still in your hand, we'll move on to you. So again, you know, when you're talking about university commercialization, the conversation is never complete if you don't talk about money, right? So let's move on to funding. So Celia, really, I think maybe, you know, before we had crowdfunding, the usual avenues for funding for university startups would be the government grants. They can't go to the banks, obviously. They can't go to the traditional investors. But when crowdfunding existed, that's something that's really opened up a new avenue, alternative funding for university researchers and really any type of entrepreneurs that are looking for investments into their project. So Could you share a little bit for me? What kind of startups do crowdfunders look at, and what makes it interesting? What's the kind of stories that they bring that will sell and allow them to attract investment via crowdfunding?
Primarily are businesses that can make their bank account fat. It is also about how a deal does their storytelling. Because it's a digital platform, equity crowdfunding is a digital platform. For those who don't know, basically what happened is that we put up a deal by a company who wants to raise money and in exchange for equity. And then we basically run what we call campaigns for those deals to attract the right investors who may want to back those businesses. But very specifically to say university and innovation, I think there was before my time in pitching, there was a deal that's pre-revenue. It's a university spin-off. They were actually in the material engineering business. We took the risk together with the company. We listed the deal on the platform to help them to raise, but they were pre-revenue. What happened was that the moment they were put onto the platform, and it's how we curate the campaign to talk about the innovation that this university spin-off has done, it attracted a very large investor who is very much into the space that this guy is actually in. So what it does is basically it takes, those of you who have kids, they always take you to shops and buy stickers. If you realize that stickers, you got to peel it off from that waxy piece of thing. That waxy paper, they have come out with some material engineering where they can actually convert it back into paper pulp that can then be reused. So when we put it out into a commercial, understandable innovation out onto the platform, it attracted that one investor who is very much pro-environmental friendly businesses, right? So what then happened was that he put in a very large sum to back this business, and then he also actually went to his network, bring this company, showcase to one of the 2 largest paper producers in Malaysia, for those of you who use like the premier tissue paper and stuff like that, and got him his very first purchase order. So what I'm trying to tell you the story is we can actually get pre-revenue businesses, which are could be from university spin-off. There are actually investors out there that will back this kind of product. But it all goes back to my first point earlier, is that how do we package it that you can tell a story that people can understand and appreciate what you have actually come up with. The guy over there, Prof, for eProfiler, I appreciate it because I'm not a technical person. He didn't, in the 10 minutes that I spent with him, he is an anomaly. He told me a story in terms of what his product is in a way that I could understand. And I think we need more of that. And what Dr. Lee in UNCIE has does is that you need to train your innovative people who are coming out to do business. How do you tell a story to a layman that they can understand, appreciate, and then they will back you up, right? That's on equity crowdfunding, not even equity crowdfunding, even with Hidayat and all, right? If you go to him and you are, I don't know, if you're not a science background guy, you start telling me jargon, after 2 minutes, I'm probably like, oh, okay, yeah, I want to find a way to get out, from the conversation and walk away. But I appreciated that, and I actually understand what you have actually worked on. Yes.
Thank you for that. Right, let's just go on to Hidayat first and say, so that's Zelia's perspective, right? So in your perspective as a venture capitalist, what is it that makes you go, this is the company that I can fund? Is it the storyline or is it the numbers? What is it that you look for? And what is that maybe magic sauce that an entrepreneur can bring to the table when they're pitching, especially from the perspective of a university startup?
I think let me give a bit of review of the portfolio of the companies that we have invested. I think the first fund that we do and we invest mainly in the company. I told Dr. Lee and I think Dr. Wine just now on the floor down there. I said, the company that we're looking at, we look for the company with product novelty. Firstly, product novelty. Because for FICUS, we are so not into a platform company. Platform company, I mean, in a very naughty way and a very casual way, I said platform company for me is just like someone who sell nasi lemak tepi jalan. If I may put it very bluntly like that. You know why? Because platform company, you can have me too company. You know, you can have this platform company do marketplace, the next day or next month, another marketplace. There's no product novelty. You can take something off the shelf. So we look for product novelty. That's the first one. So that we want to make sure that the company really, you know, has the technology, owns the product. That is why I think keep on coming back to is like a refresher course to me, because there's a lot of new, real technology. It's not technology that you copy paste. Real technology with product novelty. That's number one. The second part that we always look at is product market fit. Product market fit. Product market fit is very crucial, so that we know with whatever product that you have, you need to know how to sell it. In Zilia term, it's like storytelling. You know, it is no point for you to have product novelty, but you don't know how to put it to the market. Because our very basic acid test is simple. If we can have a product, if we can get good gross profit, we can talk. For example, if I produce this water, Borneo Spring, and then at the gross profit, I made no money. Completely lost. So those kind of company, even if you have the best product novelty, I will not consider. So at least you have to cover your cost, and then you show me good, gross profit. Then we think about how do we put that to market. So I think to answer that in short, first of all, we always look at product novelty. That is something that researchers don't have to worry. The second is product market fit. You need to really know where you want to sell. Where you want to sell and how you want to sell. You know, because again, like I said earlier, if anyone will put in money, apart from, yes, obviously there are impact investors, everyone who want to put in money, they need to have clear idea how will this product be sold. If they have no idea how will this product be sold, hence the product market fit, very difficult to get money. So I think I'll just give that two things, novelty and then product market fit. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Hidayat. So we've seen that it's novelty, it's about storytelling, it's about communicating the value proposition and all like that. And again, moving away from the purely technical, academic kind of communications, right? So, Prof. Aziz, I'm going to move a little bit away from the question that I said I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you a bit different question. Because I just wanted to pick up on the points that Cik Hidayat and Zelia had about how a researcher who's looking for funding, looking for commercialization support, can attract investors to invest in them. But we all know that university researchers, they have a specific mindset, right? They're very academic, very academic oriented, technically oriented. So what is your advice for researchers in terms of how can they move away from that and communicate better with investors?
I think you have to look at the dynamics of the university. The mindset is actually set by the university's direction actually. So now when you talk about researchers, basically we publish papers and all that, your promotions come from your publish and all that. So that thinking about commercialization is formed by this requirement. The next one are the big community is our students, right? PhD students, master students and all that. They may not have to have that publication requirement. This is where we can push some of this agenda, number one. Number two, not everyone should be focused on commercialization, betul tak? Okay, because here we are not producing entrepreneurs, but we are producing enterprising mind, so that they will excel better. So that has to come in. So right now, are we supporting commercialization? See, commercialization come at the end. You start with good research, right? So what we need to change is basically you start at the beginning. So maybe we means university can facilitate very specific mindset where you say you have end in mind. So you probably apply for something which you think you want to develop, not necessarily a product, probably a services, probably a software or whatever, and in mind. That is actually can be facilitated now because if we see recent budget also they're facilitating sabbatical up to 1 year, that we will listen, that we can do that. So this is where I think the industries can come in and actually give us some real problem to work on, boleh. Okay, later you can come in to us, probably not later at the end, probably in between, come in, tell us, okay, this looks like a good product, perhaps you can do this, do that. So I think that synergy is what we require lah, basically. Kan? So what we university willing to do that now, take up this commercialization a lot more seriously, start at the beginning, okay, and having end in mind. Now, majority of our commercialization, correct me if I'm wrong, accidental discoveries, betul tak kan? You do something, then suddenly, this may be commercializable. Let's engage some industries, talk to them. Perhaps they found that yes, this is good, but this is not what we are really looking for. This is not something. So I think that culture has changed lah. So we are willing to do that because the environment is dictated by how we want people to behave actually. So we say that yes, these are the chosen few, this is the funding available, these are the people who can advise you. That's why now we have approved getting practitioners into our teaching positions. We have appointment of adjuncts a lot. We have also company CEO and all that, trying to create that environment where our staff can benefit lah. So I think university has to take initiative to enhance this, and then people like you guys can come in and help us to understand the marketability dan sebagainya lah. I think that's what I can summarize. Sorry, I couldn't understand the question just now. I cannot hear so near. I hope I answered that.
Yes,
your
very
question.
much, Prof. Thank you. And the audience, you're going to have to, excuse us because us on stage here, we can't really hear what everyone is speaking about. The sound's not that great. Yeah, so, but I think that's exactly what we're looking for in terms of Prof. Aziz's perspective here, right? And that brings us on to another very important aspect of how do we support our university startups? Because again, you can throw as much money as possible at a startup and take the money and go, but without that proper support and assistance and coaching and facilitation, there's going to be a big chance that the startup will not be successful. So support is another mechanism that really is very important to support our university startups. Now, going back to Prof. Aziz, you've mentioned support and all that. So I would really like to hear from you, Prof. What would be a good example? Can you share us a good example where everything came together really well? The funding, the support, the business idea, and a success story really that you can share with us in the audience.
Okay, I'll continue with the example I gave just now. So this company, basically, we develop refuse dry fuel from hazardous waste. Now, the government was not giving permission to produce because anything from waste, hazardous waste is an hazardous. So what happened was that a 5-year journey where we went to the government, we convinced the government that this is a good product. We conducted experiments to show that this is safe to use. We conducted modeling work to say that this is doable. We contacted the possible users, the cement factories and all that, to get some endorsement to say that we can take this product, we can use this product without. So what happened is that, yes, we had a good product, good idea at that time, But it needed 5 years of convincing, working with the government agencies, working with the potential users of that particular product, convincing many people. And we did that together with this company. Then finally the approval was obtained. Now it's about $20 million worth of business. Now I mentioned that's the first mistake. What happened was that when we engaged this company, we were not thinking big. We were not thinking the end. It's a contract research. Therefore, everything was given to them. The 5 years work that we did was just consultancy. We didn't own anything. University don't get anything. And when they went and patented the product, we didn't have any share in it. So that's why we must be prepared for long haul engagement and meaningful engagement. And sometimes a simple idea can be a bomb. A big complex idea may not take up, as you said correctly. So commercialization doesn't mean that you need a complex product or whatever. As simple as somebody is producing food for fish, for example, right? Anybody can produce that. But if you produce a very specific product where, proven and all that, where you do a lot of testing, get accreditation together with the company, and at that point, you also work with an industry. This is what we need, a collaborative work. Because if in a simplistic manner, if you look at it, university produce technology or commercializable product or whatever, investor comes in, invest. That is not the right model now. Sometimes it's a very long haul. My experience, 15 years, right? So I think we must be prepared for that lah. So kalau we are prepared for that, then it can be successful. And believe me, if we can get 5 people working on real product in a year, you have thousands of staff, that is good, successful. I think you cannot make everybody an entrepreneur, but we have to support entrepreneurship ideas. Then hoping if we support 1,000 people, out of that 100 will come with a nice product, and probably 10 will end up commercializable product, and probably 5 probably will end up with some good success, and probably 1 will become this billion-dollar business. I think that should be our thinking process. Yeah.
Very well said, Prof. I think that's something that a lot of researchers just coming into the field of commercialization and entrepreneurship don't really realize that commercialization, bringing a product to the market is a long haul kind of operation. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of time. And it's not something that you're going to get overnight success, really. So Zila, I'll go on to you and really would like to have your thoughts on, you were saying earlier that equity crowdfunding's out there. There's opportunities for so many different types of investors to come in and support the university startups. But what kind of training or support would you like to see for our university researchers that will really help them to enable them to approach investors easier, make them more sexy, if you will, to the investors that they are approaching?
So I want to write on what Prof. Aziz has said, right? It's actually really to begin with an end in mind. Because there are people who are damn good in their research work. They are extremely passionate in the field that they are in, right? But they may not want to, or they are not cut out to go into business. So then the next advice would actually be, where universities can drill down to these people, is that to tell them, don't fall too deeply in love. And what I'm saying that is that it's not just with innovators, but with a lot of entrepreneurs. When you fall too deeply in love with your product and your business, you become very narrow-minded. You are not open to feedback. Which is actually very important as you move through the different stages of your business, especially when you want to break into commercialization and everything all. Because all this while, if you're just innovating within your lab, perhaps, that's what you think, that's what you see. That's what some of the Gen AI stuff would have given you some answers, but you have not interacted with the real people. Which means then if you are too in love with your product, and you shut yourself and you don't listen, that is one turn off for a lot of potential investors. Not just say from the investors who are looking at returns in terms of money. I used to be with Cradle Fund, right? So like we do like pitching every month where we look at people who are coming for grant. And one of the track is actually the university track. We specifically had a day where we only open up for the university innovators to come in and pitch for grant. When somebody walked into the room, so in a day we probably look at like maybe 15 to 20 deals. And when somebody walk in the room, and the first thing that they say when they start their pitch, they say that, I am the first in the world. Then what happened is that all the panel will shut down. Because, so if you're the first in the world, was there a problem before? Then how were people dealing with it, right? So that goes back to like, again, my first advice is your storytelling, right? That's also because like when you're too deeply in love, there's the ego, it's hard for you to be humble enough for your investors to appreciate what you are actually trying to do. So that's like one very important thing that as part of like say what Dr. Lee is doing with the accelerator is to really cover this part of it. Which brings me to the second point that is very important, be it whether you're going to raise fund on pitching as equity crowdfunding or raising fund from the VCs, Hidayah, or even going to take grant from say MTDC and all, right, is that you need to be open to having a diverse team. Yeah, so you should not get people who are exactly like you, because when they are exactly like you, then you're boring. Then you might as well just do everything on your own, right? And why the team makeup is also very important, be it whether today you are an innovative business or you are not as innovative business, but like maybe in your model, business model-wise, that's innovative, is that the financial acumen, which one of a very, where's my angel investor, or he's talking at that space there, that he has also emphasized is actually the financial management of business. So when you are starting out, yes, you're thinking about like product market fit, putting in the right team and stuff like that, but you must not forget your financial discipline, right? Which means you also need to plan out your fundraising journey. And everybody in the room who have been reading about things on Vulcan Post, exposed to like say entrepreneurship, you know that like fundraising is actually a very tough thing. And not all CEOs of businesses can actually do that because they usually sucks in telling stories. Only the ones who tells really great story, damn crappy product, damn crappy business model, but then they get funded like millions. People are throwing money at them. You have that, right? They have that kind of a skill. But it then goes back to the financial discipline and financial management of business. Know who to talk to, when to talk to them, how much you want to raise. If you raise this round, what is it going to get you to? Where is it going to get you to? And when you need to raise, and maybe at time you got to think, I should not be raising money all the time because I should be focusing on my business and growing my business, right? So you need to plan all of those things out. So the team outfit, don't fall so deeply in love with your own business. Be open and humble, and also your financial planning. These are like all very important in your journey to become an entrepreneur or to support your innovation to actually go out into the market.
Thank you very much. And yeah, I mean, the whole part about, immediate turn-off for investors when their researcher comes in and says they're first in the world. Another one I think would be the statement that, I've won maybe 3 medals at ITEX or something like that. And then that's the immediate thing. So, because again, the key here is value proposition, right? And business proposition. How are you actually going to convert this innovative idea? No doubt, very innovative with the patents and the medals and all the publications, but how do you actually translate that into something that is, a proper business idea and proper revenue generating in the future? Now, let's go on to Encik Hidayat here. And I'd really like to have your perspective because we've got so much support out there. We've got government agencies supporting. We've got so many policies now in terms of startup policies and things like that. We've got crowdfunding. We've got, all the sorts of initiatives really. And we've also seen in RMK 13 that there is a lot of support towards commercialization of university research in terms of new initiatives as well. But how do you see the ecosystem really? You've been in the ecosystem a while. How do you see all the players coming together, and what really needs to be done to bring all the players together to support the university startups?
Okay, thank you. I think I want to concur and confirm to what Lilia said. You know, whoever come to any investor and said, I'm the first in the world, we automatically cancel the name. You know, because bear in mind, like Lilia said, you come, you might think that you are the first, but we have been listening to that kind of pitch for 20 times a day already. So, first in the world, no, don't say that. I mean, second, if you come with award, that's something, no. Okay, all right, back to the ecosystem. I think what I really like to pick up, and I really, I listen to what Prof said, very spot on. First of all, we cannot have an accidental entrepreneur coming out of researcher. We should have a roadmap. We should have a roadmap, and like Lila emphasized it again, it's about begin with end in mind. You clear that obviously not everyone is born to be an entrepreneur. That one, if we have that in place, I think what we need to change first, if I may propose, we need to relook at the KPI. We need to relook at the KPI within the university researcher. If I want to give an example, I remember 2019, we went to UC Berkeley. When we talked to one of the one of the school, you know, the final year student, their KPI, or you know, one of the target that put on them is not to get degree, for them to get funding on their project. To get funding on the project. So every year they will declare this batch got how much funding. This batch got how much funding. So you know, changing KPI will change people behavior. Like, I think, if I understand rightly, I have sister who is a lecturer, and my brother-in-law is a lecturer. I know whenever I talk to them, they will talk about publication in good quality journal. Right, so that's their KPI. I mean, I don't say it's wrong or right, but what I propose is that, first of all, we need to change it a bit. Change it a bit to maybe include some sort of, you know, funding element into that. The second bit, I think, if you want to improve in terms of the ecosystem, we need to look at intra-university collaboration. Intra-university collaboration, the one that I think we can explore is that how can we use the researcher, the professor, the university researcher that look into the project or product or research in details, we marry them with a business graduates. So that intra-university, you create that team, that one group, one person will focus on research, on the product novelty, and the one focus on the market, on the business side. That's what I think Lila said about the team composition. For universities, I think you all will be able to do that, because you all have all the resources, all the ingredients. But I mean, I remember one example, Prof. I should not mention the company name in one of university, maybe UM, maybe whatever university. I talked to them, they are one spin-off company from universities. They said, I have 30 people working for that spin-off company. I said, okay, good. Out of these 30 people, how many of them focus on marketing and sales? Oh, only me as the CEO. How about another 29? All of them are researchers. That will not fly. I mean, I give a very, I mean, this is a real example of a company that I met. So that is why I think what we need to see how can we have that intra-university collaboration between departments, the researcher and maybe business school to provide the people to help this researcher to grow and start to form that team. Then that team will be able to talk to investors, even to equity crowdfunders or to government who are giving grant. I think if I want to improve the ecosystem, I look within. That's why I said we focus on what we have within. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I just
sure,
add
please. Go
one
ahead.
more? So it's also something that Dr. Lee and I have sort of like collaborated on, right? So the one other thing that will help this ecosystem for universities is that, as we all know, when you start business, usually besides your own money, you ask money from your family and friends, right? So for universities, who are your family and friends? If it's not your alumni brothers and sisters. So one of the things that I would like to push forward is that, like, for universities, alumni, be given the opportunity to look at what their junior peers are coming out with. And because if those alumni, they could already potentially be very successful in whatever journey that they have right now, is to come back to the university and support the innovations and all that's coming out from the university. It can be both capital as well as all the other kind of benefits, right? Market access, pilot, proof of concept and stuff like that. But the power of alumni in universities, I feel, in our country, is not being milked. If you look at in the US and UK, the alumni are the ones that's actually like reinvesting into the ecosystem, reinvesting into the things that's coming up from universities. But I feel that in our country, I think for pitching, we have been trying to help a lot of universities to commercialize their innovation. And one of the things that we would like to appeal to is for the alumni to come out and support this innovation. So I think that needs to change.
I think that's an excellent point, and especially since we're seeing now, I mean, even at MTDC, we see this a lot. There's a lot of reduction in the government support for innovation and commercialization in terms of the reduction of allocation for grants and things like that. So, you know, tapping onto the alumni network is something that you will really, I think, benefit. And Universiti Malaya, with its long history, I'm sure this is something that can be done. Right, it looks like we are running out of time. I'm getting signals from the MC here. So just to wrap up, let's have a quick round from our panelists. Just last words of advice or words of wisdom, Prof, from you to the audience before we end.
Final words, sir. Okay, I think I've got few things here. I think lecturers, my fellow lecturers, and also students here. See, sometimes students' project, even master, PhD, you can actually produce a lot of good stuff. Okay, you can actually have best of both worlds. Yes, you publish, but you can still have good product or ideas that can be commercializable. Okay, you don't have to sometimes compromise one for another. Okay, because as a university, we still need to publish, we still need to teach, but you can actually still commercialize. Sometimes think simple, dream big. I just finish off with one example. If you remember, if you go to the toll, previously now you have RDF and all that. You want to pay your toll. Sometimes you got to bring these. Sometimes people park the car far away, then you have to open up and all that. Then they produce this, something that you use for flies, you know. Then you touch. After that, they have this, where you have this, adjustable, long one. So, the flies, okay? So you don't have the problem of touch and go anymore. Of course, you have this automatic one is something else, but I don't have to worry. I don't have to worry when my daughter is driving, because I say, bring this. So that is one example of thinking small, but big impact. I tell you, if I sell the product outside here, even here, I'm sure few people will buy it and give it to their families. This is what we are thinking. Sometimes lecturers overthink. We think we need this rocket science kind of an idea, but my last advice is that think simple, dream big, and every idea, if it is positioned properly, can sell outside there. I think this is something that you must think, and you don't have to compromise your publication or commercialization. You can do both. That would be my last word.
Thank you, Prof. Let's go on to Encik Hidayat. Last words from you.
I think I've been coming back to UM again and again every year. Let me end by saying, let us put a KPI to us. So next year when we talk again, we should talk about the next level. You know, we should talk about, you know, we should not be repeating about product market fit. I think, you know, it's important for us to plan and then to execute. To plan and to execute, to really focus on, even if we be able to do the first 1 or 2 steps, that's good enough. We don't have to go the whole 9 yards. So I think most of the things that many people will be coming up on a stage or coming out to a stage and to say something that is not new. We've been saying that, but we need to strictly look into the execution. You know, if you can have one small win, that will give a huge impact to the whole ecosystem. I believe in that. So I think I'll end my pitch with that. Let's walk the talk, and I think we'll be able to achieve something next year. Thank you.
Thank you. Zelia, on to you.
For me, because very much towards like early stage innovation and stuff, like usually, like I think Hidayat used the word novel and stuff like that, right? I think for a lot of the people in the room who are considering path of entrepreneurship, it's like, don't be afraid of criticism or constructive questions. Really, usually the intentions of people asking you a lot of questions and trying to debunk what you're trying to say is because it means that they do have interest in what you do and they want to actually understand, and then they ask more. So don't look at it as like, you know, they are criticizing you and, you know, then you feel that like, I don't want to talk to this person anymore. So yeah, so for me, it's like, just don't be afraid of criticism. Look at it as a positive input that you will have, because when they ask you questions, it makes you think more, which means then you're getting closer to being able to get out into the market.
Right. Thank you very much to our panelists. Please join me in a round of applause for all of them and their perspectives. I think if we go home today, the take-home message here is that there really is a lot of support out there for university startups. I would think of it as a puzzle. You know, you've got all the pieces. You don't have to add more pieces to the puzzle because the support's already there. You've got funding, you've got advisory, you've got facilitation and all that. All you need to do now is to find out how to align all those pieces so that it becomes a picture that actually you can actually see something from, right? So again, the advice here is excellent. Make sure you have a problem statement, you're meeting the business proposition, you're filling a pain, addressing pains in the market and things like that. So it's all very, very useful advice to all the researchers out there. And I've been with coming to UM a lot lately, and I've seen some excellent ideas here, and I hope to see more in the future coming to MPDC and maybe any of the organizations and actually growing bigger in the future. Right, with that, thank you very much for your time and attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Thank you to all our speakers and moderator for the thought-provoking discussions throughout this morning. Each session has offered valuable perspective from the importance of social science in innovation to strengthening industrial linkages, and finally to empowering university startups as the next growth engine of Malaysia's innovation economy. As we conclude this morning's forum, we now invite all our distinguished guests to join the lucky draw session happening right after this, followed by the exhibition site visit featuring cutting-edge innovations from Universiti Malaya researchers, startups, and partners. Now for the lucky draw session, I would like to invite Professor Dr. Sanjay Rampal Lekhraj Rampal, Executive Director, Department of Research Development, to present the prizes to all the lucky winners. There will be 6 rounds, so the first round there will be 10 lucky winners bringing home souvenirs. So please welcome Prof. So the first winner of the lucky draw So the first winner is Negarin. Is Negarin in the hall with us right now? Calling once, calling twice, calling thrice. Can we move to the next winner? Oh, okay, Negarin here, okay. Congratulations, Negarin. So the next winner Fatin Nur Syafika binti Khairul Anwar. Congratulations, Fatin. So the next one, the third winner, the third lucky winner for this round goes to Long Suzian. Is Long Suzian in this hall? Coming. Yes, we saw your hand. Congratulations, Long Suzian. The next one, the fourth winner, Mr. Shaiful Hisham Saleh. Is Mr. Shaiful Hisham Saleh in this hall with us? Calling once, calling twice, calling thrice. Okay, we can move to the next one. Okay, all right. So we'll move on to the next one. Muhammad Nazrin bin Suhaimi. Calling for Muhammad Nazrin bin Suhaimi. Okay, he's on his way. While waiting for Mr. Nazrin to come down, can we spin to the next one? The fifth winner goes to Miss Nur Fatin Syuhada binti Rosli. Is Miss Nur Fatin Syuhada binti Rosli here with us? Congratulations for winning the lucky draw. Calling once for Miss Nur Fatin Syuhada. Calling twice. Calling thrice. So next winner. Okay, call. Miss Irdina Marini binti Zamori. Is Miss Irdina Marini in the hall with us? Calling once, calling twice, calling thrice. Okay, let's move on to the next one. So our next winner is Leonard Bayang. Is Leonard Bayang in here with us? Calling once, calling twice, calling thrice. So let's go to the next one. Fairuz Amanina binti Ibrahim. Congratulations. Luckily, she just came in. Truly really her luck today. She just came in and her name was called. Congratulations, Fairuz Amanina. Next one, can we spin the next one? Muhammad Ashraf. Congratulations, Mr. Ashraf. Next round. Ruan Ziyun. Is Ruan Ziyun here in this hall? Oh, she's here. Congratulations, Ruan Ziyun. You are our 7th winner. Meanwhile, can we spin the next one? So our lucky 8 is Nakibullah Sediki. Congratulations, Nakibullah. So the 9th winner Mageswari anak perempuan Manikam. Mageswari anak perempuan Manikam. Congratulations, Mageswari. The final winner for this round goes to Dr. Adibi Rahiman Matnor. Is Dr. Adibi in this hall? Calling once. Calling twice. Calling thrice. No, okay, so next lucky winner. Fitri Soraya Azmi. Is Miss Fitri here with us? Calling once, calling twice, calling thrice. Okay, next one. To the 3rd, hopefully lucky last winner for the 10th round. Brian Chang Fa Kan. Brian Chang Fa Kan, are you here? Calling once, calling twice, calling thrice. Okay, next one. Ehsan Husaini. Congratulations, Mr. Ehsan. Finally, we have a winner for the 10th lucky draw. But don't worry, we have another 5 rounds with interesting prizes. Okay, so for the next round, the winner will take home 1 wireless earbud. That's a branded earbud. Congratulations to Po Wei Yoon. Wow. Congratulations, Miss Po Wei Yoon. So the next round goes to Miss Suhaila Muhammad. Calling for Miss Suhaila Muhammad. Calling once. Calling twice. Calling thrice. Okay, so we'll... Oh, she's here, okay. You're the lucky winner, bringing back the JBL Bluetooth speaker. Congratulations. next round. Next winner goes to Jashira binti Jamin. Calling one for Miss Jashira. Calling twice. Calling thrice. Okay, next. Miss Siti Noraida Muhammad Nashruddin. Is Miss Siti Noraida in here? Calling once. Calling twice. Calling thrice. Okay, next. Mariam Lawan. Our next winner goes to Mariam Lawan. Calling once. Calling twice. Calling thrice. Okay, next. Mat Habib Ullah Russell. Calling, okay, congratulations, Mr. Mat Habib Ullah Russell. So you'll be bringing home back one wireless mouse. Congratulations, next round. So this lucky winner will be bringing back one Montego Ace bottle. Congratulations, Miss Siti Aisyah binti Muhammad. Calling once for Miss Siti Aisyah. Calling twice. Calling thrice. Okay, next. Rupal Roy. Is Rupal Roy in this hall with us? Calling once. Calling twice. Calling thrice. Okay, next. Sumarni binti Mansur. Calling once for Sumarni binti Mansur. Calling twice. Calling thrice. Okay, next. Teh Erlun. Is Teh Erlun here? Calling once. Calling twice. Calling thrice. Okay, next. Oh, sorry. He's here. Okay. He's on his way. So no, yeah? No, okay, sorry. Okay, congratulations, Erlun. Next round. Can we spin to the next one? So this one will take home one wireless power bank. Congratulations, Naradila Zahira binti Muhammad Azmi. Congratulations, Ms. Naradila Zahira, for being our final winner for the lucky draw session this morning. Thank you so much, Prof. Sanjay. Okay, and with that, once again, thank you for being part of the Universiti Malaya Research, Innovation and Impact Showcase 2025 Umriis 2025. We'll see you again in the afternoon session, and the next lucky draw session will be at 5 p.m. So scan the QR code and who knows, you might win next. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care.